Welcome, eventually, to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting live show. What's good, everybody? Going to be going live here with Modi in just one sec. Just wanted to bring up a couple things, let everybody jump into the stream as well. If you are new, jump into those comments. Go ahead and give us your bets. We'll go ahead and go over that stuff together. We got plenty to look at, man. I think we're both looking at Kristaps probably not playing, but we'll talk about that in one sec. I just wanted to run through really quickly before I bring Modi on a couple of the bets that we had from the video, which is now yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, I think we had it. So that came out pretty early here, but we've got a bet here. This is the takeaways. We got a bet here for Luka. It's the first one I wanted to show you. This is just rinse, recycle, repeat, going back to the same game parlay of something he's done now 90% of the time since he got healthy, which I'm considering basically the start of that Thunder series and maybe a couple games in. But this is one that we're still getting at even money, man. For him to get 8 boards, 3 threes, 30 points, still really like that one a ton. Just massive hit rate, obviously, and plenty to like with that. As even if he does get an injection into his chest because it's hurt, I still think he's going to be good to go. Similar play here. I just subbed out Tatum 8 boards for Luka 30 points because we also get minus 101 on that. So really wanted to find a way to play both of their boards, but it wasn't enough money for the 8. So I just took it for both of them and added Luka's 3s, which I feel super confident about as well. And then Jaylen Brown over in 5 of 6 road playoff games with this 21.5 point number. I just think this is totally mispriced, man. So all this stuff is going to be rolling on the bottom line, by the way, but I still like the stuff for JB getting out in transition. I thought he had a lot of room for progression, if you will, back to his averages after the last game where he had 6 turnovers, 1 for 5 from deep, both pretty big outliers for JB. The 3s may or may not fall, but the free throws will still be there for him, and he'll be attacking the basket, getting in transition. So still going to go with him on that. Also, just to keep in mind that everybody not named PJ Washington has been absolutely barbecued by Jaylen Brown. So I, as long as he's still hunting those switches, I'm going to feel good about his ability to get to the bucket and get those easy ones. And fourth bet that I do already have in, these all kind of came in early because I figured these don't depend on the status of Kristaps Porziņģis, which we kind of all do know is probably not going to play. He's probably doubtful at this point in some places. So we'll continue to monitor that. But this under 51.5 total fourth quarter total rather, is also a nice play. It's hit twice already. I hope I'm not late to the party with it because I haven't been giving it out, but playing it a little bit closer to game time. And I still, look, there's a lot that could happen here for the total. I want to hear what Modi has to say about this as well. But I still like an under in this one, even though the 3s could start dropping for one of, much more so for Dallas than for Boston. I still think this is a defensive matchup. It's game 3 of the finals. It's massive. So I think there's going to be a lot of puckering up of the buttholes here, and we'll see a lot less points in the fourth. But let me get Modi onto the stage with us, man, as we got our boy. And I've been getting yelled at, Modi, because I haven't gotten it yet. But I'm happy to have you, bro. How are you doing?
I'm good. No, I appreciate you having me. Finally, you stopped big timing me and let me on the live stream. So I appreciate it.
You're so right. And like, I even forced you to invite yourself onto the show. Like, what a shitty host. You know what I mean? But no, we're glad to have you, man. I know you've got a couple plays already in for this one. Also, just a quick thing for everybody. Like, you've got a couple of really great things going on right now. You got Newsweek, right? And Betting Pros that you're doing a lot more stuff with. What's the schedule of stuff real quick with that?
Yeah, sure. So I just signed a contract with Newsweek. It's mostly just writing. Probably, the hope is that it'll end up progressing into something more, but right now it's just writing. If you go to my profile, you can, like my Twitter, you can just see a link to my profile if anybody's interested in just what I have written. And then for Betting Pros, it's a lot of just side stuff. It's nothing that crazy. Newsweek is what's going to take the majority of my time. Yeah. I appreciate this. I appreciate that. I just started, literally this is my second week. So everything's still really new there. It's a pretty dope opportunity. I'm not gonna lie.
It is, man. It is. I'm happy for you, dude. That's sick. So yeah, definitely make sure you guys are following him. Probably are already on Twitter at Jedi Modi, and also has his own YouTube channel as well, putting out these types of videos and stuff. But really glad to have you, bro. I'm gonna run through some of the looks here in the comments. I see everybody in here, man. Appreciate having you guys. Free Sauce and David Cruz, Azania. What's good, man? Yeah, those WNBA videos. You're getting into the W, right, Matt?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, actually, I was just working on something right before for tomorrow's games, right before we hopped on.
Nice. And quick question, like for me, I found like the sides and totals have been a lot more profitable so far for myself. Are you finding that? Or
yes,
like, what's up?
100%. I'm up like, I'm basically breaking even on the entire season, right? Up like 0.06 units. We can call it breaking even. I haven't actually done the math yet. I should, but if you just took out player props, I'd probably be up like 2 to 3 units. Like I'm guessing the player props is just what's been killing me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just have not. I mean, part of it, like, I mean, this is me just trying to spin zone it, but like not having all the advanced stats available that you have for the NBA is just it's super frustrating. It's what's like it's part of why I feel like I've struggled so much with player props. It's because like you can't just dive into the analysis as much as you can with the NBA.
Yeah. What we're saying is that player tracking data isn't around.
Yeah. I mean, it's player tracking data. It's like it's catch and shoot. It's pull up 3-pointers. It's like potential assists, which are the tracking data. There's a ton of stuff that's not offered for the WNBA, which is lame. Like you can get it for NBA, and NBA owns a WNBA. Just get it for both.
Resources, man. I agree. I'm not going to share his secret, but I will say Props Madness, which is something that we use very consistently on here. Really nice little one-stop shop. Pips has figured out how to find all this play type stuff, and the defensive shot charts, obviously nice and easy, but then also this play type stuff, which I honestly have not found anywhere else. So if you are not yet on Props Madness, I highly recommend checking it out. He gave me a little insight into how he's getting certain stats that other people don't have. I promise like secrecy. Yeah.
Is it like second spectrum or something?
I don't even know if it was that, to be honest with you. I forget where he's pulling it from, but I'm not supposed to say either way. So even if I did remember, I wouldn't tell you.
I won't keep asking. All right, no, I definitely will check that out.
Yeah, give it a shot for sure. There's a couple of things that'll definitely be helpful, but we're going to be using Outlier here, as you guys know at this point. If you are still missing an Outlier account and you want to at least check it out for like 7 days free, go ahead and use the description, the link in the description of the video. I got that scrolling on the bottom line too. We're going to update some stuff with the card. I got 4 plays in. Can we kick it off with a play from you, dude, and start there?
Yeah. So my favorite play of the day, it's going to be sweaty. Kyrie Irving over points. I got it at over 22.5. I'm pretty sure across the board it's at 23.5 now. For a little bit, like a right around even money, something like that. I laddered him up to 25 plus. I put a half unit on that, and I put a quarter unit on him to get to 30 as well.
Hell yeah.
It's really just like it's just betting on shooting regression. It's not the Thunder series where he wasn't getting up the volume, because he is. And I did the same thing for game 1 and game 2. I looked at every single shot attempt that he had. Like, yeah, Jrue Holiday and Derek White might be the best defensive backcourt in the NBA, but he's getting good looks. Like, and I even looked into the numbers to make sure that it wasn't like just my eye test. So I'll go through it real quick. So he's 0 of 8. He's 0 of 8 from 3-point range. He hasn't made a single 3-pointer. 3 of those have been considered wide open, which is 6+ feet of space. 4 of them have been considered open, which is 4 to 6 feet of space. So that's literally 7 of his 8 3-point attempts have been considered open or wide open, and he hasn't made a single one. In the regular season, he shot 48.7% on wide open 3-pointers, and he shot 37% on open ones. Like, that's a pretty good percentage, and he's shooting 0.00% on those. And then you look at mid-range shots, which, like, he's got a great finishing package at the rim, right? And no, Porziņģis probably is going to help that, but I didn't even look at stuff at the rim. Mid-range, he has 11 open mid-range shots. Again, open meaning 4 to 6 feet of space. He's shooting 4 of 11 on those 11 shots. That's a 36.4% field goal percentage. He shot like 60% on open mid-range shots in the regular season. So this isn't, to me, this isn't, he's getting clammed by the Celtics. He can't do anything against, like, yeah, Jrue's awesome. Derek White's awesome. He's getting good looks. And maybe like the Celtics home crowd just has him in mental jail, and he's just like in his head too much, and it's manifesting itself. He's just a little off with his jumper. Well, he's going to be back in Dallas. Like, he's not going to have people chanting "F you, Kyrie" every time he touches the ball. So unless the Celtics just live rent free in him in the entire universe and not just in Boston, like, I think it's a smash spot for Kyrie. And I feel like nobody likes it. Everybody commented, was like, dude, I hate, like, this is the worst pick you've ever had. And that, I'm like, perfect. That makes me like it even more.
Hell yeah. It's interesting because, like, while people say that like Kyrie and Luka both love to like be the villain, I don't think Kyrie likes to be the villain. I think Luka's fine with it a lot more.
I think, to be honest, Kyrie wants to be the person that likes the villain. Like, his ideal version of himself is like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I like it when people hate me. But yeah, I mean, he's been terrible. And he's like, 0 for 13 in his like last 13 games against Boston. Like, yeah, they beat him in the playoffs. I guess that was 21 when the Celtics, like, when right before Brad Stevens became the general manager, and when the Celtics or the Nets actually had that big 3. But since then, he's just been getting smoked. But I mean, again, it's just a play on his shot chart. He's getting good looks, He's missing good looks. I have a hard time believing he's just gonna essentially sit out the finals. Because I mean, he was awesome in the Timberwolves series. He was scoring at the rim against freaking Rudy Gobert. So it's a classic butthole clenched type of play. But yeah, I mean, again, it's just a play on his shot chart.
It's a hold your nose and play the numbers that you're seeing.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I don't hate it. I tried to do that last game, and it obviously didn't work. I think
I played it last game too. I doubled down.
Then I respect the shit out of that, to be honest with you. Just as more than anything, because I still haven't had the stones to just be like, dude, just because it didn't work last game, the read was still there. He took 19 shots again. What is he like? He's now like 13 for 37 overall on his field goals in the series. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I can even pull it up really easily right here on Props Madness for a sec, because they show the shots for each game with the game by game stuff. Where are you at, Kyrie? Hold on. There we go. So in this game over here, we had 7 of 18 and 6 of 19. So 13 of 37, barely getting to the free throw line twice in this last game, 0 times in game 1. So there's even the opportunity for that, because Kristaps being like, that would be the reason I think, damn, I think I'm about to take it, because that would be the reason. Like, I've been looking for a reason that anything would be slightly different other than volume for this next game for him.
Yeah.
Kristaps being out is everything, man. I mean, that dude was tossing shots. He was contesting everything. And for Kyrie, like, I was pulling up the tracking data from this last game real quick to say another 11 uncontested shots. And you were talking about that, like 3 for 11 this game, 2 for 11 in the last game in game 1 with the uncontested shots as well. So like, it should all be there. I'm going to leave it as a lean for right now, but I'm glad that someone who people trust is on here giving out Kyrie Irving, to be honest with you, because I definitely want to tail that. And I might even just do what I like to do sometimes with Kyrie, which is like, well, if he's going to have a comeback game, it's going to be for 30. And so I think you're smart to ladder it. But if you already believe in the core bet, then I'm with that as well. I don't have anything other than Kyrie, than Kristaps. By the way, we're both under the impression he's not playing, right?
There's no way he's going to, if he plays, there's no way he's going to be effective.
Precisely.
I mean, he looked terrible. Like, I mean, take out the first quarter / first half of game 1. He hasn't done any, like, he really hasn't done anything. He scored 8 points in the first quarter of game 2, but it wasn't nearly the same impact on the defensive end that he had in game 1. So yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if he played. If he plays, I'd be shocked if he was effective.
Right. Yeah, I was ready to go right back to over 3.5 first quarter points, and then the news came out yesterday that whatever the hell injury he has. I'm not even going to try to repeat what that word is for his.
People just trying to sound smart.
So brutal. Really good tweet that I shared in the Discord where someone was talking about how LeBron likes to be smart and say that he knew something for everyone. That's the best one, where he's like,
I saw someone sent that to me. Someone sent that to me. It's so funny.
So good. So even if he played, dude, like 15 minutes, this does feel like a cat and mouse game of like, oh yeah, he might play, and just keep Dallas on their toes to not prepare for it. But if you're reading anything into it, and the Dallas doctors are helping out, I'm sure he's out. So that would affect the Kyrie stuff for sure. Before I move on from Kyrie, did you look at other stuff? I'll just open that by saying I do not touch Kyrie ancillary stats, if you will, like assists, rebounds. It was a nice play for assists in the OKC series, the way they were playing him. This time, we have not seen them blitz him at all, to be honest. Like a little bit in the first quarter of game 1, I tracked like 3 plays where it was like, oh, damn, they're like sending help on Kyrie right now, which is crazy, or at least keeping him on one side of the court with like a wall of defenders. But they've really just sort of been like, never mind. Like, we're not even worried about Al Horford being, guarding him or Luka one-on-one right now with the help defense that we have. So I don't see any reason to bet on rebounds or assists for him. Do you?
No, I don't have anything other than Kyrie points. I mean, if I'm going to go down with the ship, it's going to be him scoring. It's like you said, this is not the Thunder series. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I'm actually just looking at his potentials real quick. The potential assists in the last game were, he had 14. Wow.
He was doing a better job passing. I'll give him give him that. Last game he was passing well, but
interesting.
I mean, they got smoked again. I don't know. The difference between, because someone who I respect commented on my show was like, I'm playing Tatum, the same logic for playing Kyrie. And it's like, Tatum's up 2-0. Like, his teammates are way, way better than Kyrie's teammates. So like Tatum could not score 20 points and they could win. They could sweep in this series, especially the way, and I want to get into this with you because I'm curious your thoughts, especially the way that the Mavericks are playing both Tatum and Brown. Tatum doesn't have to score. That's why you see him have so many potential assists and so many rebounds and stuff, because he doesn't have to score. It's a totally different situation. Anyways, I know that wasn't what you asked me, but
it's okay. That's super relevant. And also just want to shout out Daft in the comments. He likes your haircut, first of all. Thank you for changing shirts. I know we have Shirtgate going on right now.
Shirtgate, it's taking the nation by storm. I really thought about digging that out of the wash and just putting it on for the live stream. I really considered doing that.
I always wish you had. Remember, everybody, that your proceeds in the chat here go towards buying our boy another shirt, a third shirt. But he's got a Fire Pizza Planet shirt on. If you know, you know. Speaking of if you know, you know, there's a little. Have you heard of Daft's Bitch or Beast plays?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, I love them so much. So basically what you do is you find a player like Kyrie and you go like, look, he's either going to go ham or he's just going to do nothing again. And this was sort of derived from Miles Turner, who might be the face of Bitch or Beast at this point, or B.O.B. Because
B.O.B.
essentially
Shout out B.O.B.
Yeah, shout out B.O.B. But essentially, like, when Miles Turner gets boards and he gets points. When he didn't, he doesn't. Like when he made threes, he gets his points. So it was a parlay of like these things together to go over a lot of stuff. So you take like over 20 points and over 3 threes for somebody like Miles Turner, or you go under an alt underline for him and under the threes as well. And then you get like a couple plus 500s. And those seem to work pretty well. I'm not going to pretend to be as good at them as Daft, but Kyrie might be in line for that. I think the assists I'm still staying away from. Maybe you like boards, but there's not much strategy there. Let's jump to what you were saying though, because it gives me a moment to be able to bring up something that Prop Bomb showed me, which was, and I'll bring up Tatum and Brown actually, and we'll go into them, and then we'll do some probably some Luka stuff. And I believe you have one more play for this game too.
I have 3 total. Yeah.
Okay.
So on the Jaylen Brown one, I took him. Now that, I mean, presuming Kristaps Porzingis is out, I took Jaylen Brown over 5.5 first quarter points. I didn't have the stones to take his under assist because, I mean, 20 potential assists in 2 games is crazy. Especially last game, he had 7 on 12 potential. So the way I went about it was his over first quarter points. I'm guessing your audience knows this, but like he's been a gold mine taking his first quarter point prop in games that Porzingis has missed. It's been awesome. He's hit it in 6 of 10.
Sorry, real quick, I want to interrupt. There's a correlation you're saying between Luka first quarter. I'm sorry, Jaylen Brown first quarter points and Kristaps' presence.
Correct.
Okay.
Kristaps being out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's done it in the playoffs. He's played 10 games without Porzingis. He has 6 or more points in 6 of those 10 games. He didn't do it in the last 2 games against the Pacers. So he was 6 of 8 prior to that. In the regular season, he played 19 games without Porzingis. He went over 5.5 in 12 of them. So he's got a 62% hit rate if you just take all 29 games, and he's averaging 7.7 points in the first quarter. Again, if you took all 29 games this season without Porzingis.
Right.
So his last 4 look gross because, I mean, he went under in both games against this series, and then he went over the last 2. He went under the last 2 against the Pacers. So it's partly a play on just like it's a system play. No Porzingis equals Jaylen Brown over first quarter points.
Yeah.
But part of my logic, and this is totally me guessing on what the Mavericks are going to do. They can't keep playing defense the same way that they've had. And this is what I really wanted to talk to you about because I know advanced stats. You know ball better than I do. But like the point of attack defense on the Mavericks is just non-existent. They're like Luka is a traffic cone, just saying, get by me, and then that's fine. So they're sending aggressive help from the corners, or the center is coming off their man. And that's why you see Tatum and Brown have so many potential assists. Honestly, it reminds me of the Suns Mavericks series. I guess this was 2 years ago when the Suns went up 2-0 in that series and like both games weren't even close. That's a series the Mavericks ended up winning in 7.
Mm-hmm.
I remember after 2 games, it's like, is Luka going to show any pride on defense? And then Jason Kidd made some adjustments. I don't remember the exact details there, but he made some defensive adjustments. And obviously they won 4 out of the next 5 games. But they just can't. The Celtics have 60 catch and shoot 3-pointers combined through 2 games. Like they just can't. That's when the Celtics are at their best, when they can drive and kick, right?
Yep.
They don't want, they want to play straight up ISO ball between Tatum and Brown. Like when you're letting them drive and kick, like that's when the Celtics are at their best. And Jason Kidd knows that. They're watching the same film that I'm watching. So I'm guessing that they're going to play Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum differently. And the juice, what pride. Luka has always been a stiff on defense. Watch his defensive film in the Timberwolves series, man. Totally different Luka. Totally different. If he's banged up, whatever. Like it's the freaking finals, man. Like you cannot keep playing defense the way you're playing through 2 games and expect to win. So it's already, like I said, a system play without Porziņģis. And then I do think that the Mavs defense are going to make some adjustments. I think they're going to have better on-ball defense. I think they're not going to send like they're the help that they're sending is haphazard. It's like they're doing the worst of both worlds. They're not getting close enough to stop the guy, but they're going too far away from the shooter, leaving him open, if that makes sense. Like they're no man's land. So I really wanted to take his under assist, but I couldn't get there. The way that I ended up playing Brown was his over first quarter point prop. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm just curious kind of what you think, not necessarily about the play itself, just about my logic of like taking Brown in his points as opposed to his assists.
Right. Yeah. So for Brown on the assist, so let me bring this up as I answer your question, which is like, and this is what Prop Bomb also showed me initially for reasons undisclosed. But last game he and I were talking about going under for Tatum assists, which, as everybody well knows, did not work out. He had 12 on 13 potentials. Would also just urge everybody, if you want, you can go into the box score of these games and see each of those assists. And I would argue that 3 of these assists that Tatum had, which still gives him 9. I'm not trying to trash his game at all, but 3 of these 12 were like, and this is how you do that. I'm not going to go through it all with you guys, but if you look, if you click on the link of the actual assist number in the box score, you can pull up each one. There's like 3 on here where there was 3 dribbles taken after he passed the ball. And it was just like, what is an assist anymore, man?
It's a very home-friendly scorekeeper is what that is.
What you're going to see. And so I would keep that in mind, that the scorekeepers are the one dictating whether or not we win hundreds of thousands of dollars or however much you guys are betting on the NBA right now. So keep that in mind always. It's so annoying, but it is what it is. Then the other thing is the drives. So I'm not sure if you've seen this yet, but like what's really interesting.
I have.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So if you go, and I'm gonna dumb this down for Jalen, for the players on the Boston Celtics. So I'm in the NBA traditional advanced NBA advanced stats page, and I'm going to change this to the finals, and I have it on players for Boston Celtics, right? And I'm on tracking data for drives. All right. And so what I'm looking at for specifically this is, last game, by the way, was absurd. The first game was like a normal amount of drives for both these dudes, Tatum and Brown. Now we're getting into absurd territory where they had like 26 and 23 drives last game, respectively, Tatum and then Brown. If you look at the pass percentage on those drives, it's cuckoo bananas, right? Brown is at 56.8%. Was this part of your look as well? Did you consider
I didn't. This? I said what you're describing without giving the specific numbers. So what I wrote was through 2 games, Brown has 20 potential assists, significantly higher than his average of 6. He's been driving more than usual, but the Mavericks have been aggressive, sending help, leading to a combined catch. That means everything that I said, you're now giving the stats to back up what I said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we're saying here, which is when he's driving, and shout out Gafford, I guess, and to some degree Derek Lively as well, which perhaps just their presence in there has changed things a little bit. But a 56.8% pass percentage, and even 51 for Tatum. If you compare that
for Jaylen Brown,
it's crazy for Jaylen Brown. Absolutely crazy. If we make this the regular season and keep everything the same, let me see here, take out the finals, and I just got Boston during the regular season. Look at this pass percentage and how that changes for these guys. First of all, that's half the amount of drives
a game.
Yeah, that's insane. But now you've got the pass
33%.
percentage, 33.7% plus, and Tatum even lower.
Jaylen Brown is not a high-level passer. He can make the easy read. He can kick it out. He can dump it off to the big man. If you don't give him those opportunities, he's not going to get assists, and then he's going to shoot. He's not someone that can read the floor. I don't know. I don't understand what the Mavericks are doing on defense.
Well, it's tough and I'm sure a lot of us have seen this tweet, and I just had it up actually. Hold on.
Luka being a traffic cone.
Yeah, Luka being a cone. I'm sure we've seen this, but this is pretty bad, man. This one is whatever. I mean, that is just nasty, Luka. Where's the pride? Like you're saying. So that might be something to do with it. Like, first of all, the drives are there because that's the game plan for Boston. So if you are Dallas, first of all, Luka needs to be down low on the baseline, period, end of story. The man cannot guard anybody that far from the basket. You've got to figure out a way to get him off of that stuff. So that's one part of it. The other thing is just they're going to have Gafford or Lively on the floor for this game. They've made that,
especially now that there's no Porziņģis.
And that's what we saw in the second half of this last game was Porziņģis is out, and we've still got a ton of both these dudes on the one of the centers for Dallas on the floor, which means that's going to continue to probably be the case, right? Is the amount of drive. So I would just say this for Brown. I love the first quarter points. I'm going to hit that as well. I'm going to totally tail you on that. In fact, I'm putting it in here in 1 sec on the bottom line. I'm also going to add it to Modai's card, which is floating on the bottom line as well, if you guys want to check that out. But like, yeah, the first quarter points, that's a wonderful go for me without Kristaps. Like, first of all, in the last couple games for JB, I believe he's gotten even fewer minutes in the first quarter because they were like, well, we've got Kristaps coming in now, so we don't need Jaylen Brown to play 9 to 10 minutes, right? Is that
so? Actually, in both games of the finals, he's played 10 and 12 minutes in the first quarter. It's not what you would think. So that's without Porziņģis. Yeah, his minutes in the first quarter are weird. Like sometimes he'll play less than 8. Sometimes he'll play, like I said, 12, 11. So I don't really understand. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you what their rotations are going to be. I'm guessing he'll at least play 9 minutes. That's my goal. And that's the hope. Like the 7.5, like that. I don't know. Mazzulla doesn't have like strict, rigid rotations, which makes it a little bit difficult to guess minutes. And Brown probably won't play all 12 like he did in game 2.
Right.
I just got to hope for at least like 9.
Yeah, I think you should bank on 9. And I think if you bank on 9, this is what I was doing all last series for them against the Pacers was like until the one time that Jaylen Brown had the 4 right here. And I was like, all right, I think I'm good on this. But like a bunch of games in a row, I was taking the 5+, which you can see is a key number in the playoffs as well, by the way.
It's a 3 and a 2. Yeah.
Yep. It's a 3 and a 2 and like, maybe a 1 for 2 from the free throw line. I don't love having to bank on him going 100% from the free throw line, but he gets some free throws in there as well. The 5 was a key number until the minutes kind of dropped. 7 here. And it was right here. I stopped because it was of the 7 minutes I saw. It wasn't really just because he went over on the 7. I hit it. But then after that, I was like, I'm happy to be done because I can't bank on him getting 9 to 10 minutes like he was. I think in the finals you can, and I think without Kristaps, even if Kristaps is playing in this game, which we both agree is like going to be a shell of himself at that point, especially on defense, you don't have the luxury of being able to just like let Jaylen Brown sit out a bit more. You know what I mean? So I definitely dig the first quarter points. As far as the assists go, he had 7 last game, right? And he had the 14 potentials, which was wild or 12 potentials.
12 potentials and 8 in game 1. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason that I would go back potentially to him on assists, if you were so inclined at even money for over 3.5 right here, right, which is on Caesars, DraftKings is even money. So about 4 books have him at about even money or slightly better to get 4 dimes. If you were going to go back to it, it's the driving details that we saw, but like I still don't trust it necessarily for him. And I also don't think that the shots are necessarily going to be falling for the others, if you will, quite as much on the road. Derek White averaging 3 points fewer per game on the road in the playoffs and stuff like that. So just wanted to make that real clear. So I'm in full agreement with the first quarter bet. I'm putting that on here because I'm going to hit it as well. I'm going to take Brown over 5.512 points and just tail you on that because I didn't even consider the effect of Kristaps on that one, to be honest. And I think that's a brilliant call. So did anything that anybody here just said entice you for the assist? And by the way, Prop Bomb's in here, y'all. I'm going to bring him on in 1 sec as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. But nothing changes for you on the assist necessarily?
I would lead towards the under. Like that 7 just screams massive outlier regression. But I mean, it's not going to be an official play. Like, I don't like to have 2 plays in the same guy that are correlated because if one doesn't go your way, then you might as well just lose. Might as well just lose both.
Right. I feel it.
So yeah, I would lean towards the under, but that's not an official play.
Okay. All right. Let's get our boy on here. Did I do this right? Hold on. Let me see if I did it right with the because usually I have everybody called something incorrectly. Hold on. Damn it, I didn't. Let me fix it. What's good?
Oh, okay. We're not matching shirts this time.
Yes. I should have told you, dude, that was brutal. Matt, I don't even know if you saw, but we matched on.
I did see that. That was
game 2 straight times. All right, good.
Adorable. Yeah, it was adorable. What's good, dude? How are you? And do you have any thoughts on anything that you've heard so far while I made you wait?
Doing well. To be honest with you, I missed about like 10, 15 minutes. So I do need to get caught up with what I missed. And then after that,
let me fill you in on the last one because I'm actually really intrigued as to your thoughts on it. So
for sure.
Modai was talking about the potential for Jaylen Brown to get his assists. We both he likes the first quarter points, turned me on to it with the lack of Kristaps in this game and how he's likely to get back up to anywhere from 9 to 12 minutes, essentially in the first quarter for JB. The assists are what's interesting because I definitely made sure to give you credit as I was looking at these drives because that was a really interesting find by you that the pass percentage is so high for these guys in the playoffs for both the Jays essentially, right? This is just the finals especially. So does that entice you to take anything for Jaylen Brown's assists? I like going under assists and rebounds for him right now, to be honest, for the fact that he's guarding Luka. You look at the assists or the rebounds for someone guarding Luka, like Jaden McDaniels last series were non-existent for him. So I like doing that because you're guarding the shooter most likely. Adding it to the assist feels right, but under on the assists is like kind of calling to me now as well as I'm looking more closely at it. Did you have any thoughts there on Brown in general?
Well, you mentioned it too. The passing, definitely seeing the last game, seeing how many times he passed out of his drives is a little scary because it does generate a lot of good assist opportunities. However, your point with the rebounds where he's the primary defender on Luka. Luka likes to switch heavy. He likes to switch on, the easiest target, and Jaylen Brown really isn't the guy ideally he wants to switch on. So I don't think all the time he'll be primarily defending. Okay. So I don't know if you can really put so much weight into that in your argument for the rebounds, but I would leave the under on the rebound just because he's playing on the road, right? I mean, like better shooting you to hope. I mean, they're just point blank missing wide open shots, the Mavericks. I mean, I think I saw a stat that said, the role players, PJ Washington, Derek Jones, Kleber are shooting like 15% on wide open looks this series compared to like 35% in the playoffs. So you can expect that to kind of bounce back. This actually goes into a prop I gave out. I can talk about it a little bit later, but
no, go ahead. If it's relevant, let's get it.
Well, yeah, no, I'm kind of running it back. It was Al Horford under 7.5 rebounds. Took it last game at 6.5. Got hooked. I tweeted out one of the rebounds, which was very like 99% of the time he probably wouldn't have grabbed that. So kind of got unlucky there. And then they're raising it one rebound higher, probably baking in the fact that Kristaps is not playing. So I like the under 7.5.
Which doesn't scare you, by the way, right? That there's no Kristaps.
It is a little scary, yeah. So it can go one or two ways, right? The first way is that the way that wouldn't be good is maybe they raise his minutes. Maybe it's like, they shorten the rotation. But what I think happens is like they're just going to maybe put in, I don't know, like O'Shea, Brissett, Tillman, like Cornette. So maybe his minutes aren't that impacted like people think,
Yeah. The only thing I would say to that is if Lou Cornette steps foot on the floor, Luka's going to snipe him and be like, that's the guy right there. Make sure we get him in the action.
Well, they may need that, though, like at the same point, because they do need rim protection just in general. Like he's like, I feel like Xavier Tillman fits like the better profile than Cornette. So we'll see who actually steps in the court, or if maybe it's just a 7-man rotation.
Yeah. That's what I would lean towards. What do you think, Modi, about the rotation here for Big Papa Al?
Well, old man Horford just can't play 40+ minutes anymore.
He can't. Yeah.
That's also part of it. Like he's so much more effective in that like 26 to 30 to 35 minute range. If he plays anything more than that, he just can't hold up. Like if you look at, I forget what series it was, but there was a stretch where he had gone under his PRA in like 9 straight games to start the playoffs. Because like the minutes were just getting to him. Yeah. And then he popped off for like 7 3-pointers the game after that, when everybody caught on to it. But yeah, I mean, I like the under rebounds. It's the correlation of just like the Mavericks shooting better at home. I have a play, not anything regarding the rebounds, but just them shooting better at home. So I think that's solid. And yeah, I think you could probably find value on it without Porziņģis because people are going to say, oh no, Porziņģis. Okay, let me bet the Horford over. Like I think like the general public is just going to want to bet his over without Porziņģis.
Yeah, it hasn't moved much. I think it did jump, right? It was 6.5. And this is a really cool part about Outlier here that we were talking about last time, right? Is you can see the sort of hourly shift or whenever it does shift in terms of a line that's available at different books. So earlier today, what we're looking at like a couple hours ago, essentially, it was 6.5. And jumped up shortly thereafter to the 12.26. So like it's been fluctuating as I think people are kind of trying to run through the scenarios that we're talking about right now, which is like, what do you do with Horford with Kristaps out? I want to take a quick look. I know this is just regular season stuff, but I want to look at Horford stats with and without Porziņģis this season, just as like a whole, because this should give me pretty much every game I need to write this season. Which is going to be 40. Yeah, this is going to be a regular season, so it's not as useful. But the interesting thing that I wanted to point out, I was pretty sure this was the case. 6.1 versus 7. That's not a major jump, We're talking about a really crucial prop or stat here for two centers, where the thing that goes up for Papa Al is he gets 5 more minutes. So like, let's put him at like probably 35 today. That would be my projection for Horford's minutes is about 35.
35? I'd say like 30, 32.
You think it's lower?
I think
so. My thought process there is like if we're looking at the playoffs, this is playoffs or last 20 anyway without KP. The minutes for him have been pretty damn high, except for the games where they didn't really need him, right? So that's my like I do when I fade Al is when he's just played 40 minutes, and then the next game he's going to get down to under 30. So it's possible. Like, look, it's difficult to say because also with a 2-0 lead, you've got a bit of wiggle room here. You don't have to like be like, oh, all hands on deck, get Al Horford out there. I do agree, though, with one thing that I heard Bill Simmons say, which was, and I didn't listen to the pod, but I heard it as a clip, which was that if you are in a position to just like take this game and effectively end the series, you take it. Like if you're up by 4 with 8 minutes left in the fourth, you don't just get Luke Kornet out there because it's time to give him 3 minutes according to the rotation. Like you keep who you need out there. So if they believe in Papa Al that much, I think it's like chop the head off at this point if you can, because Luka Dončić winning 1 game, then you as Boston have a lot of pressure on you in game 4 to not go back tied 2-2. That's kind of how I see it.
I like the way you're thinking, Josh. I think that's what's going to happen too. I think Boston is just going to wait and see if they do build a heavy lead. When Dallas pulls that white flag and they take out Luka, then they'll start taking out their starters. But regardless the matter, if they don't, you may see the starters play to the last minute even if they're up 30.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and like you said with the rebounds, I do think that there's a lot of positive regression coming here for the shooting for this Dallas team. So banking on that. Real quick before we go on, and I'm going to add some stuff here. I added the bet rather for Horford for PB. Let me start with you, Modai. Do you have a take on a side or total at all before we move on? Because we're getting some questions about it in the comments.
I didn't play anything on the side or total. I actually would lean towards the Celtics first quarter money line because I feel like they're going to go for the kill shot. Like you see this all the time where people assume, the team down 2-0 is going to come out hot. Normally it's the opposite. Like the team that's up wants to go for the kill shot and just totally end the series. Like 3-0 is barbecue chicken. The series is over. I didn't play it. I would lean towards that. It's also just a fate of the public. I used to be one of those squares where first quarter home team, just take that, which I've noticed that it's closer to the opposite. And like plus 128, like everybody's thinking, take the team that's down 2-0 in the first quarter. But I lean the opposite. I think this and the Celtics didn't shoot well in game 2. So if they start out shooting hot in game 3, that just helps us even more. And I think it'll normalize from there. But I would lean towards the Celtics first quarter money line. For plus 128, for the team that's up 2-0 and has the best net rating since the 2018 Warriors with Kevin Durant. I think there's some value there.
Yeah. And I just want to mention too, that the numbers that people see about teams that go down 2-0, it's first half. It's not first quarter nearly as much. So a lot of times it gets confused that like the first quarter is when the team down 2-0 at home is going to go crazy. It's the first half numbers that they cover a lot better than the first quarter number. It's like 63% or whatever over the last 2 decades of the home team down 2-0 winning the first half, not the first quarter. So keep that in mind when you're like, they're going to come out on a tear. Maybe not. But what about you, PB? Do you have any thoughts on either of those?
No. I'm with the first half side. I was on a podcast with Joe DeLera. I don't know if you guys both know who that is, right? But with Action Network, he brought up this point, like what you were saying, the whole trends thing. Let me see if I can pull it up. Teams coming home for game 3 off a road loss are 19-6, 76% rate in the conference finals. That's against the spread in the first half.
Yeah,
I'm not touching that personally. I never touch things that are non-props, but no, that's probably the route I would go is if I'm betting anything is Mavs first half spread.
Yeah, that's a lot more likable for me as well. I'm honestly mostly just leaning towards an under in this game, which is why I'm like really a little bit loath to just
you see it just in general as far as like as games go on, defenses know how to counter certain. Offenses know how to counter certain. It's just it gets slower with more defense.
That's why I
Less
opted.
like
I
Rivera.
ended up opting for just the under in the fourth quarter because I do think if there's positive regression to the shooting for both these teams, then we're talking about like a lot more points than we've been seeing, but still probably closer to about 215. So it was pretty close for me. Yeah, for everybody who's asking about like the sides and the totals, we'll admit that these are like 3 prop guys, much more so than the sides and totals. Other than the WNBA, because now Modi and I have to claim sides and totals for that.
Maybe I'll do that too.
But that's also because the data for the sides and totals in the W is way more prevalent than the individual player stuff. So we've kind of talked about that. But all right, let's keep it moving then. Let's since I've got him up as next, and we did touch on Jaylen Brown. I've already got points for him. And Modi's got first quarter points for him. Did you have anything for JB before we get to JT prop bomb?
Currently, no.
Okay.
I don't have anything for him.
No worries. Yeah, let's start. Let's kick it off with Tatum then. At least move into some Tatum talk for 1 second. I still like the rebounds. The only thing I have for him in here is 8+ as a part of a parlay with Luka to get 8+ as well on the boards. As far as the points go, like this would be a game that I would see him scoring finally in. This would be the one without KP. And the reason is, and this is I think pretty like under discussed, which is Jayson Tatum getting the ball at the foul line has not been a thing with Kristaps Porziņģis in the game. It's just that simple. Like Kristaps is the one standing at the foul line, almost like a post up at the foul line, and then doing his work from there. And he does that when they get the switch of a smaller guy on Kristaps, rather than go all the way down low. He's been standing at the foul line and going, give it to me right here. I can either get to the rim or I can just shoot right over whoever the hell is guarding me. Right. Even if it's a freaking center on the Mavs. So with that in mind, like he's not there to take that spot where Tatum would normally be standing as well. Like Tatum is really good when Kristaps is off at being the roll man on the screen and roll and finding the right spot on the floor to get the ball and score from. I'm going to be looking at Tatum live and seeing if he's getting into some different spots than just standing on the wing where he's normally been playing from and getting the ball. If I see him in different spots now on the floor rather than just outside on the wing up top above the break, then I might be hitting his points live, to be honest with you. And I obviously want to see like 1 3-pointer go in. I just want one to go in early, and then I can feel confident like he's going to keep shooting them and have some confidence in it. But let me kick it off with you, Modi. Did you have a look at Tatum yet? All this stuff considered?
No, I didn't have an official play on him. I mean, I would lean towards taking his 3-point prop just because it's just betting on regression. I mean, the same thing happened earlier in the playoffs. I think he missed his 3-point prop in like the first 10 games of the playoffs. And then he had a stretch in the Pacers series where he shot really well. Like I'm like on props that cash. He had a 3-game stretch, 5, 3, 3. And then last game he only made 1. He was horrible to begin the playoffs. And he even said it, like he knows he has to shoot better. And I think that again, the Mavericks play them a little bit different defensively, basically saying like, we can't just let them go ring around the rosy with like driving into the paint and then just doing pass after pass, giving guys like Derek White wide open, Jrue Holiday wide open. Like that's when the Celtics offense are at their best. So I would lean towards his 3-pointers. And you have it up on the screen there. Like, he went under in the first 10 games and then he had 5, 3, 3. And then he hit his under last game.
Yep.
It didn't make an official play for me. I'm not going to play it officially, but if I had to give a lean somewhere with Tatum, it would be his 3-pointers.
Bet. What about you, PB, when it comes to Tatum? Anything? I know he spurned you last game.
I know this guy's funny. I'm looking at the comments. Money Train Zay. He's like, don't be scared to play unders. He must not know who I am. No. But I actually, after I said unders, I actually leaned the over on the points for Tatum. This was something that I kind of foreshadowed with you on the last live stream in game 2. I was like, I'm kind of curious to see if that aggressiveness maintains going into game 2. And it did. He had like 18 drives in game 1. Then that was like 29 drives in game 2. So he's averaging about 23.5 drives. The only problem is like, yes, like on paper, it shows that he's just running so cold, but the shots have been very high quality. Like when he's at the basket, these are shots that he should be making, more than 50% of the time. You could just, and if you even want to do it, like when the show ends or maybe while I'm talking about, like see what those shots I'm talking about. Like, there are shots that should be falling. Like he's just like, I think he's just due. The drives have been a good sign. Like you want to see that. Right. Yeah. And a lot of the, like, you'll see like,
that's,
like
I love that.
That should have went in.
He's missing a ton around the rim.
Yeah. He's missing a ton. And I think he shot 1 for 8 in the first half. So I just think he needs to get off to a good start. Maybe, even like the 3-point shots, they were good quality looks. Like I think it's just
they're
a
not
matter
bad.
of
But
him
see,
going
when you're struggling like he is, I would really rather see him not taking this shot.
All right, well,
I don't think this is a bad shot.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
But
Let's see.
this should be coming after. It's not like a bad shot. Even this one right here that we just saw.
I think for this one, he should have been attacking the rim, like Lively showing his feet.
He's got Derek Lively on you. Drive.
Drive. Yeah.
That's
drive, and then you have Luka in the basket. Like Luka's going to want to put you in foul trouble. Like he's not going to want to take a foul.
Yeah.
Yeah. He never, yeah.
We're in full agreement on that. Like even these shots are not bad shots. This step back right here that we just watched. But look, this is like him getting going all the way to the rim because Luka's a cone, as we've established.
Yeah, that was understandable.
But they gave him a shot attempt for that. That's awful. I didn't.
Do you see do you see how they're starting to double him like on that drive? Do you think they're really going to want to give up that like kick out to Derek White, which is even a more cleaner shot? I feel like maybe this game they're not going to pressure him that much.
Interesting. Yeah. So like basically instead of trying to force the ball out of his hands as he's driving a bit more.
Yeah.
Still just play him straight up is kind of what you're thinking about.
I agree.
I don't think fully.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I don't think fully, but they're gonna, I think, like loosen up a little bit because they were doubling him a lot, and that opened up like a lot of clean Derek White looks.
Him and Jaylen Brown, they're playing them the same way.
So I kind of lean the over 26.5 points. It's very close to being an official play personally. That's what I'm thinking.
I like it. I really do. Do you have a thought about Tatum in the first quarter? Anybody as well?
Even that works, right? The 6.5 points.
That seems a little low. Like
it was minus 130 last game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tempted to go.
As long as he's not 1 for 8 in the first half,
True. Free sauce is off of the Tatum stuff. He's been burned too many times. Go back to
I'm like, Michael Jordan of Chris Bosh. Yeah, he's the Michael Jordan of Tobias Harris's. That's what he is.
The Michael Jordan of Tobias Chris Bosh. I love that. That is exactly what he is, bro. I like the RA for Tatum, but I'm not as willing to fade the assists as I kind of was leaning towards it with you last game. I'm now starting to talk myself into my favorite thing of all time, though, in this playoffs, which is basically first quarter points for both these dudes. 5 for Jaylen Brown, if I can get that. Just
5 for the Jays.
Yeah, basically 5 and like 6 or 7 for Tatum, something around there. Looks like this has been bumped up on a couple places, but you can still get 6.5. And you can't get alt first quarter points, I don't believe, on FanDuel. You got to do this on DK. FanDuel. Yeah, but on DK, this isn't a bad look.
I like that. Yeah, very solid.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring it up real quick because I might make this a play. I'm starting to like the first quarter stuff a little bit more for these guys without Kristaps in there. And I think maybe correctly or incorrectly, like I was a little bit scared to go back to these dudes in the first quarter. One for Jaylen Brown because he wasn't playing the full quarter until last game. Let me go to the same game. And then the other thing was Kristaps' presence, whereas like they're clearly trying to get him in at about the 6-minute mark and get him to do work at that point. But if I do take 5+ for JB, which is only minus 160 in itself in its own right, and 6+ for Tatum, whatever, and we already get that at plus 136. Damn, like this was a lot more expensive of a play earlier. I'm thinking that's going to be a look for me as well. I'm gonna put it on leans on the bottom line right now, but check back the video that'll be on YouTube. We'll have the plays listed on the comments as well. Also throw it in Discord. But first quarter points, I'm almost definitely gonna be looking at that. 6+ for Tatum, and then 5+ for JB. So keep that
rebounds,
in mind.
I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the rebounds and assists. The only thing that kind of worries me a little bit about the rebounds is that I feel like Kid's going to make some adjustments. Like I don't think he likes having him defend Derek Lively in like the center. Like maybe he puts him up. I think like he tries to move him around a little bit more and is a little bit more mindful in that. And maybe that's going to mean like more Luka switches or something,
Mm-hmm. So like a little bit more of Tatum on Luka being the case.
Could be, yeah. I mean, he's playing a lot on the centers, and it's really mucking up. What do you call it? Like just like the defense, I think. And I think he's going to want us. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
No, I think it makes sense. And Luka's called out Tatum and been like, "Come get some." Basically, is like trying to hunt him at times, which is wild.
Get him in foul trouble, no? Like
it would be helpful. I don't know if Tatum's going to foul or not, but yeah, it would be helpful to have him on the dude that is most likely to draw fouls. It would also help the Mavs if Luka could make a free throw. If you want to consider it a top freaking 5 player in the NBA who's hitting all what are we? I can't even. Whatever.
LeBron's the same way. He can never figure out free throws.
And you know what it is though, and I'm just going to be technical about it for 1 second. like if you look at like Steph Curry, the shot starts at his knees and his lower body, and then the momentum of his shot slingshots up. Luka barely bends his legs and then just like flicks the ball.
Yeah.
Like, and so does LeBron. It's the same type of thing where it's not like quite as much of one motion from your knees to your shot. It's really just like a little bend and then just fling it. Slingshot it with some touch, which whatever, it seems to work. But all right, cool. So we can move on from Tatum. I do like I obviously like the rebounds for Tatum, and I actually am strongly considering the RA, but I do think if this is the game that he gets the points, I'm just kind of scared to bet on Tatum. I don't feel like I have a strong play on that.
Me too, yeah.
Let me turn it to Luka for a minute. First quarter points has been the most popular request in the comments as well. I want to bring that up. So kick us off here, Modai. Like, any thoughts on the Luka first quarter points? I know you've become a first quarter guy too.
Huge first quarter guy. Yeah, I played it last game. He hit that despite the fact that he missed, I think, 3 free throws in the first quarter. I mean, it was at 7.5 last game. Now it's at 8.5, and it's juiced to the over. He'll probably cash it. I didn't make it a play also because like I don't want to have Kyrie over points and Luka over points, even if it's first quarter in the same game, even though that could easily happen. Yeah, I mean, his first quarter has been phenomenal. And like I said, it's 8.5 now, so that is over a key number.
It's a pretty key number here, man. I mean, look at these playoff games right here. That's happened 5 times. He's gone exactly 8. Yeah,
and especially like if it was 8.5 for plus money, then I would have considered it. But 8.5 for like minus 115, whatever it is now. Yeah, especially after he got 13 last game, like you're just betting on like, I don't know. It's not that 13 is an outlier, but I don't like to bet after outlier performances. Like 20 in the first quarter against the Timberwolves, 7 in game. I know it's a different series and a week off, whatever, but then 7 the next game against the Celtics.
Yeah. No, I'm with it. I
held off.
Yeah.
If he misses it, I'll probably put 5-unit whale max on it in game.
I don't believe you.
I mean, no, I won't, but I'll probably play it. If he misses it, I'll probably play it in game 4.
If he misses it this game, yeah, then it's probably a good play for game 4, especially game 4 if they lose, but and lose game 3 here. What about anything else for Luka Modai? Did you look at him for anything else?
No, I didn't have anything on Luka. I mean, I would probably play his assists again, which I know he had like I think 11 last game after having 1 in game 1. I think like I'm guessing again. I really look into this. This is me just kind of speculating here. I'm guessing that people just have what happened in game 1 still in their heads when he had 1 assist. And if you expect the Mavericks to shoot better, that directly correlates to Luka assists. Like Luka's made 8 3-pointers. The rest of the team combined, I think, has made 7, or 6, if I remember correctly. So if you expect them to shoot better, that just helps Luka assist. Like the thing is, the Celtics aren't giving up anything on the corner. They're not giving up any corner 3-pointers, and they're really not giving up a ton of lobs either. So that admittedly does take away a lot of Luka's assist opportunities, are those 2 things. But I would still lean his over, probably rebounds, assists, just because his rebound seems to be like free money every time. Because like, he wants to get the rebound, then push the pace, and nobody else is going for it. So I think you mentioned this on your channel. Like, he's not deferring any rebounds. When Luka's going up for a rebound, he's getting it. So I probably would lean that. But yeah, I mean, any over for Luka, like this was a matchup for him to score, just the way the Celtics play defense and the drop coverage, and especially with no Porziņģis, it's just going to be even more of drop coverage with Big Al and whoever they put in there. So
precisely,
any way you want it with Luka, I think would be fine. I'd probably lean towards points and rebounds and assists.
RA for him, which I think is still 17.5, 19.5. Good.
Oh Lord. No, yeah, that jumped a lot.
That's high. Yeah.
Oh, we've gone crazy.
We're getting crazy. That was 17.5 in game 1. No.
Yeah, it was. It was 17.5 for most of the Timberwolves series. 19.5 is bonkers, but how often is he been getting 19? I mean, look, it's not that out of the question.
Yeah, 19 twice.
Yeah,
and Clippers.
Yeah, that's a different look. What were you thinking about Luka in general there, PB? Anything?
I also like the first quarter points. I think that's a pretty solid look. Minus 120 on FanDuel, so I don't fault anyone if they want to take it. I'm still trying to get there myself if I want to make that official. Aside from anything else, I thought the turnovers prop over made some sense. I kind of like that, was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah,
I think it was like plus 130 or over 4.5 turnovers. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
they're really like, I think it just comes with fatigue with him. Like they're really targeting him a lot, and and switches defensively, and I think that's kind of impacting his like overall stamina like towards the second half, where he's like making poor choices and everything. turnovers. You don't want to overreact too much the last game, but
right. Yeah, if anything, like I was considering an under. On
really?
The turnover. I love the turnover bet. By the way, I've become a huge fan. At this one, and for Luka, and there was another one. I forget which one it was, but for Luka going under when they give me 4.5 has felt really good. I was taking it at like -150 in the last series. At the same time, I think there was something for the home and away stuff. I think he's much better. So if you look at the playoffs away, he's gone under in 9 of 11. If you look at home, somehow he's gone over half the time.
Okay.
So I don't want to I don't want to just base everything on that. I don't have like a strong reasoning for it other than like, I don't know, he's more lackadaisical at home, or maybe just because he got 2 home games here against the Thunder, where he was averaging now like just 14, 18, and 6 and 3 games against them at home in that series, which is just much different than the other 2 series here. And I would say that Boston is a lot more like the Timberwolves defense than I would the OKC defense. But he has failed to go over this in 13 of the 19 games in the playoffs. The Celtics don't really cause turnovers. I like that was just my only thought, was like the Celtics already don't really cause turnovers. So there might be something to that. I just want to make sure I'm not lying to you, but I'm pretty confident in that they, when we go to opponent TOV stuff, opponents, where'd you go? Turnovers. This is the playoffs, but if you look at the regular season too, maybe that doesn't really matter as much, but they caused the fewest opponent turnovers during the regular season. So that was something, which is weird, because you'd think that when they switch everything that they'd get into some passing lanes and then get it and go. But that just didn't seem to be the case. So I ended up staying away from the turnovers.
That was just like a lean on nothing. So nothing very serious.
Well, I definitely wanted to touch on it because I also thought about it alongside what you were saying too. And that I just wanted to show you kind of what made me stay away from it in either way, to be honest. But
sure.
Yeah. And yes, by the way, Guy has a golf league that he's in. So our man has taken his golf game very seriously these days. And so was unavailable for tonight. But I told him he better get that handicap down below 10 if he's going to be playing golf this much for sure. All right. Keeping it moving. I gave my bets out for Luka. I don't feel the need to dive into it too much. Luka's very good at basketball. That's my analysis. And so I think he's going to keep being very fucking good at basketball and super annoying. Although I'd say he's bitched and moaned a little bit less this series than I might have expected. We hit on Papa Al already as well. I think it's time to talk about my favorite player in the NBA, and he has been since the Philadelphia 76ers, and that is Jrue Holiday for a minute.
Jrue.
The future finals MVP, Jrue Holiday.
I gave that out. I gave that out in the Discord as like, I didn't give it out. That's not fair to say. I didn't put it down in the bets channel, but we were talking about it. And I know a number of people hit Jrue at like plus 3,500, plus 4,000 to be the MVP, because I started explaining why I could see him as the MVP. In fact, I'm going to be honest. I started with my reasoning with Jrue Holiday as the potential MVP because he's the dude that's going to be shooting corner threes, as you can see, against a very bad corner 3 defense, right? So that was really the thought process. He hasn't even been doing that, though. He's just been playing shut you down Kyrie defense alongside playing like Shaq, basically, because most of his shots are coming from the paint. Was he 9 for 9 from shots inside the paint last game, I believe?
All of them were either cuts, rim points. That's kind of where he was scoring.
He's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I meant to go into his shot chart real quick, because if you look at his shot chart, look at this. Like, who are you, dude? You're 6'3". How is this happening?
Playing like he's a power forward. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Mini Giannis. So like, PRA is still there for him. Honestly, like I haven't hit it. That's been the call.
Well, here's
Jrue.
The thing. Let me just say. So you saw that in the first half. A lot of that came in the first half, right?
Okay.
But then in the second half, as soon as they started to see that, like, he's going to be positioned there, and then especially on defense. Actually, hold on. No, I think a lot of it came in the first half. Yeah.
Let me pull up.
Does it kind of worry you that the second half was a little bit less?
Let me see real quick. So going into the first half of this last game, he was 7 for 9. Yeah. Which means he was he still had a decent second half shooting wise. If we split it up, 4 or 5. Still 4 or 5, but yeah, took half as many shots essentially as he did in the first half. You're saying that the defense adjusted to that in this last game, PB?
Something happened. Yeah. I can't pinpoint what it was. But yeah, I mean, it was also just, both Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum making those extra passes.
Yeah.
And Jrue just being in the right spot,
Yeah, no, you're right. And if you look at the first half, 4 and 8 assists for these two dudes versus, so it's 12 combined versus 7 combined in the second half. So yeah, 9 shots and 5 shots. And then in the next half, they doubled. It was like 13 for Tatum and 10 for Brown. So they took a lot more shots and started passing a lot less, which led to Jrue's fewer shots. So I don't know if there's a correlation between what the correlation would be, to be honest, for Jrue, for the shots going up for the Jays and as a result down for Jrue. I don't know that it necessarily scares me which half it happened in for Jrue. I think the only thing that scares me is the strong efficiencies for him. Like, even if he took 11 shots this game, or 14, do we really think he's going 11 for 14 once again? I think the thing that I like the most about him is the rebounds. Once again, to be honest, I think a big part of that is the rebounds he's pulling down are the result of Luka being the guy that's trying to stop him from getting rebounds, to be honest, and just jumping into the lane and being super effective that way. So that's kind of where I'm at with Jrue, is more so the rebounds than anything. But the points are still so low, are they not? Like, they haven't really jumped up as he's been climbing over his number. It's still 12 and a half, 13 and a half. Yeah. It still doesn't really scare me, but he's hyper dependent on, like, I guess he's not. I was going to say he's hyper dependent on getting the ball in his hands, but like, he gets the ball. He's in there for the rotations. If you look at, this is the last 10 that we're looking at with a nice hit rate, 7 for 10, last 20. Taking Kristaps out, does that really matter for Jrue? Actually, I just want to pull that up real quick. Did you have any thoughts about Jrue before I keep going, Modai?
Yeah, I would lean towards his under. Honestly, it just has a regression, like just basically betting on regression, like 11 of 14, which I get you're going to shoot more if you're closer to the rim, and especially if like if Tatum or Brown is drawing the big man and then just dumping it off to him. Like, those are going to be high percentage of looks, but it kind of goes back to my thought that I think the Mavericks are going to play defense a little bit differently than they did in games 1 and 2. Like, you cannot just let them waltz to the rim, Brown and Tatum, like they did in games 1 and 2. That's why those drive numbers were so high. Even if Luka is still a traffic cone on defense, like, their on-ball defense, it's impossible to be worse than it was in games 1 and 2. And the Celtics also have stretches where they just forget how to play offense. Granted, it's been less of that this year than it has been in previous playoffs. Yeah. But the last year, again, this is Hawks series, this is a year ago, but they just let Trae Young stand in the corner and didn't attack him. They just settled for jump shots, and that series had no business going 6. Like, they just have fits where they forget how to play offense. And even if that doesn't happen, even if they play the way they're supposed to, it's more so just a bet on the Mavericks defense, which has legitimately been awesome since essentially March. And I get that the Celtics are the best defense or best offense that they played, that they probably would have possibly played, except for maybe the Nuggets, but whatever. I just think their on-ball defense is going to be better, which means less of those opportunities for Jrue Holiday. That's why I liked the Jaylen Brown under assists. Again, it didn't make an official play for me. I'm riding with the 3.5, but I would lean towards his under points personally. Okay.
Yeah, I dig it. I mean, I don't have any strong reasoning to go over. You know what I mean? To be honest, it's a hit rate thing at this point with him and the way that he's playing more than anything. I honestly still expect him to I expected him to be taking more threes, more corner threes. Both games, his prop was at 1.5 and it hit barely though, right? He's hitting 2 a game. And I think that's a big part of the scary part of the points. I don't have a strong understanding of why he's able to get to the rim so easily, other than he's just forgotten about, right? Like, a lot of his drives came from the baseline, which once again is where Luka has been playing the majority of the defense. So it scares me to take an under on Jrue when I know that Luka is going to be his primary defender for that amount of time. But it is still a lean for me. I think the rebounds are a good play. I think the rebounds and assists, they've been very popular. I know that. DeJuice brought it up here.
Yeah, it's so popular.
Very popular, right? I think that's gotten smooshed down to something we can't even talk about anymore. It was, minus 120 is better. It was at minus 140 for a while. Where's it minus 120? I didn't add that. FanDuel minus 120. Okay. I mean, it's gotten a little bit better. Was it 9.5 at some point, or has it always been 10.5? Do you know?
I feel like it was 9.5 game 1. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone as high as 11 now and got bet down. Daft said he had some Jrue parlay science.
Oh, the rare 4 stream.
The 4 rare. What's up, King?
Gang bang! This Kappas Cabal's coming along, Josh.
Yeah, man, it's coming along, bro. What's good? Throw your parlays. Is it cold in Australia? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's fucking freezing.
Oh,
we just hit winter.
That's right. You guys are so weird down there. What's good with Jrue? You said you had some parlay science for Jrue.
Oh, I did that as bait, so you'd bring me in.
I know. I just fuck with me.
A bait and switch.
Yeah. What do you got about Jrue though? There's no BOB play here for him, is there?
No, absolutely not. This man is not a BOB at all.
He's just a B in terms of beast.
Yeah. He's beautiful. Yeah. Exactly right. My thoughts on Jrue. Firstly, on the point side of things, I don't love it as much as a lot of others. I think it's low for a reason, and it's low for volume. I think we can all agree that last game was an outlier. What was he, 9 from 9 in the paint or something? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I think it's
he had a lot of transition points too. A lot of transition points.
Yeah. I think in this game, Dallas are the ones who have to make the biggest changes, right? They have to make the biggest adjustments. So it's somewhat unpredictable in a way, which makes this game so exciting. You can't just bet what you're used to and think it's going to happen again. So with Jrue, I agree. I think the rebound's probably the best look. Okay. I think assists probably have the most value because his potential assists were like 8 to 10, like sitting around there. And his ratio from assist to potential assist is actually quite strong. Yeah. In one of those games, a lot of those passes just weren't resulting in buckets. But I can see him falling back into his traditional role where he's hustling on defense, rebounding, and being more of that playmaker. I think the rebounds and assists is a great look, but that's probably been bashed down. I think that's probably one of the most popular plays today.
Yeah. It's kind of like scaring me. I don't like when like things get so popular, you know, kind of like
I think
it's like if they could find it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't because I didn't see anybody just like sometimes you see a popular capper give something out and then you just see it everywhere. But I don't. There was some. I thought you could look at. I'm pretty sure you can. I need to do better about that. Look at like some public bets stuff and the percentage of stuff coming in, which I'll get better at. Do you happen to know, Daft, if there's anything on here about that? Looking at where the money is or anything like that.
I think it is mainly for money lines and spreads and totals. Okay. I don't think there is for props.
That makes sense.
But my play on Jrue, so I do have some parlay signs. So it wasn't complete bait.
Yeah.
But I was just verifying some things before I brought it up. So this has been somewhat of a wagon that I've played with Jrue Holiday throughout his career in Milwaukee and now in Boston. I take him for 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. So it all comes down to how, like, what would we normally price that at? And based off all the numbers I have and a close friend of mine has, we probably get that at around plus 200, which is fair odds for him to go 10, 5, and 5. Mm-hmm. Looking at the numbers this season from 85 games, he's hit that at a 33% hit rate, and you'd probably price that at around plus 200. I got it at like plus 280. So the 10, 5, and 5.
10, 5, Holiday. 5? Okay.
Yeah. And if we're right in saying he probably doesn't score as much, he probably gets close to the 12 to 14 points, and the assist numbers do come up. We can say the 5 rebounds is an absolute lock. You're really just playing his assists. So can you get 5 assists?
Right.
And you're getting like plus 250
to
plus 280.
What's 10, 5, and 1, 3 look? 10 points, 5 rebounds, 1, 3.
That's a good look too.
I love the assists. I like the assists. I would like it more if I knew Kristaps was out.
I think we can bank on that though.
Yeah.
Don't you have spies there, Josh? Don't you have spies like watching like shoot around and stuff?
Yeah, I wish. Let me text Jay King. He's at least someone whose number I do have that's reporting over there. But like, I don't know if Jay would give me anything there. And that's only because he went to
solid. This someone in the chat, Jay Miz said 10, 4, and 4. That could be another one.
But for 10, 5, and 5 on both. Oh, here you probably have to do DK. You got that at what? What was the number there, Daft?
For me, I got it at plus 250, but I got it on this late.
You were saying that, yeah.
I got it late. Normally, I'd find these things a bit earlier.
I like the logic, though. I like the logic of you're playing his assists at that point for like a really good number because of the fact that you believe in the rebounds and the points so much. The rebounds. What have his chances been at? Real quick, I'm on rebounds right now.
Like 12 and 18 or something.
Good lord, the 19 over here.
19.
Yeah, and 14 in game 1. I do continue to like that as the best play for Jrue. I'm going to put that in leans for right now, at least as the boards. But
another great thing for his rebounds, and it's probably similar for Derek White, but he's probably less reliable. Is when you watch back the game, Derek White and Jrue Holiday, the main ones crashing the offensive boards. And that's because they know that the people they're going to be defending, they're not going up the court. Luka's not running. Kyrie's not running.
Exactly.
They're not playing with
the push and transition.
So, right. The guards for Boston could just crash the boards all night long.
That's fair. Yeah.
Smart.
They don't care about that. I mean, there's nobody fast breaking for Dallas anyway.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But I think that's how Dallas wins. If they win, I think they have to push the pace. Like the thing is with Dallas,
Kyrie rebounds then,
the defense for Dallas, right? We know it's not great with all these blow bys. Everybody knows about it. The problem with Dallas is they're kind of like half playing defense, so like half rotate. Like there's a little bit of effort, and if you've played before, a little bit of effort still taxes you. Whereas if you think about how Indiana played, there's effort to stop the blow by, but once they get blown by, there's no rotations. There's a bucket and we go, so they run. They'll concede that 2 points. Whereas Dallas is kind of half committing on defense the whole time. When they get the ball, everyone's walking.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
Yeah.
I can see that for both the guards there. Let me move on real quick to D White as well. And I mean,
D Light.
Yeah, that's right. D Light. That's right. The light skin brother. D White. First of all, I'm still loving under on his assists. I took under 4.8 for the series. We talked about it last time. That was my favorite series prop bet, was Derek White not to get 4.8 dimes. I just think he's still a shooter. The thing for me with D White would be, how long can you allow Boston to shoot? What is it? 67% catch and shoot shots of their offense? Like, how long can you let that happen? Basically, where are you at with that, Modi? Did you look at Mr. White at all?
No, I didn't look at D White. I don't, just very, very limited research. I don't hate the under assists. I mean, last game he only had 2, but he only had 3 potential assists.
Right.
The only thing that would scare me off of that is, like, part of that has to do with the fact that they're letting, like we've said a million times, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum drive to the rim. So if they even play a little bit differently, maybe they play Derek White. Like if he's not catching and shooting, then he's probably catching and driving. And then he gets a lot more assist opportunities there. So but I mean, I didn't really look into him that much. So a lot of my thoughts are just based on conjecture and just what I think and stuff like that, as opposed to actual research.
Yeah. Well, I also should have mentioned, we were talking about this, PB, right? We were on the side a little bit yesterday. We were talking about Derek White, and you were talking about some threes, maybe some under dimes. I think we're looking at him in a very similar light. Minus 119.
What's this one?
For D White, right? Like, what am I missing when it comes to his threes? Like, he's taken 18 in 2 games. He's made 3 and he's made 4. Right, like a 38% hit rate or 38% shot percentage for him from deep would amount to 3 threes made, which is what he's at. It's minus 119 is the best number for it. I don't really have a good reason to tell you not to take it unless you see some kind of difference in the defense for Dallas.
Yeah, I kind of told you with the Jayson Tatum analysis, a lot of his attempts came from when Tatum was penetrating the rim, and the closeouts that normally would be there for Derek White had to kind of rotate a little bit more to pressure Tatum, and then Tatum would just kind of kick out. That's kind of where his looks came from. So if we think that Dallas is going to be a little bit more stronger on defense, something, I actually lean the under on his 15.5 points. I'm waiting to see if Kristaps is out and that raises it. And I kind of want to fade the point. Something happened.
I was laughing. I was laughing at the same thing.
Thibodeau said, "Y'all sold me so hard last game. You guys are frauds. I called Gafford, and y'all told me he won't play much. I understand."
All right, let's put him on the show. Let's get him on the show. What's his problem?
My solution for this would be, Thibodeau, send us all money, and then it won't be free, and then you'll get a much better quality product because we'll have more time to look at stuff and not just try to make money in our daily lives, man. So,
or give us your own plays and let's compare.
Oh, yeah, you're saying he could do his own research if he wanted.
I always say,
okay, don't play it. Thibodeau, maybe you should think a little bit for yourself and then come up with it. What a brilliant strategy. What do you think about this game, Thibodeau? I would love your insights into that one.
But yeah, Thibodeau, what's your thoughts on
in the ass?
Let's put him on the spot. Does he like the over or the under on Derek White?
Where are you at with Derek White, Thibodeau? Let us know, bro. I don't think he thought he was going to get called out, though, so that's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. Like
I was on the Gafford under too. I thought the same thing. I was with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Well, look, Derek White is a bit of an enigma. Does anybody have a strong feeling or thought about the centers for the Dallas Mavericks right now? I'll briefly intro it with, I can't just fade Derek Lively in this game just because he's done poorly on the road when he's clearly a rookie who feels more comfortable at home. So my end result is I'm staying the hell away from both of them after the egg on my face from Gafford last game, which Thibodeau kindly brought up for us to remember.
So say it so well.
That you have now enough practice of saying Thibodeau. I feel like pretty good about it. But also, yeah, we can say shout out to the logo, by the way. I should have started off with a quick moment of silence for Jay West. Also, one of the best general managers in NBA history, by the way. The reason that the Warriors won championships, I'll just tell the quick story. He wanted to draft Steph. Somebody else wanted to draft, I can't even remember who, for the Warriors. And they were like, if you don't draft Steph Curry, I'm quitting as general manager.
They wanted to trade Klay Thompson for Kevin Love. And he said the same thing. He's like, I'm quitting if we do that.
Twice he did that, and both times they were like, okay, like that worked out. So that's my favorite thing for him. Yeah, Gafford, Lively, anything for you, Daft, on either of those homies? Because I just stay away at this point for me.
I think with all the Dallas bigs, you've got to stay away right now. You don't know, because I think you said it in the video you released a few days ago that the player that's going to get the most minutes who is the one who plays better in the game. Yeah, J-Kid doesn't have a plan. They'll all get a bit. Right. You all get a taste. I mean, whichever one tastes best, that's what we're running with. So if Dallas play with pace, then it might be a Lively thing. If they punish the Boston Celtics for playing Jayson Tatum on Gafford and they post him up more often, it could be Gafford. If Maxi Kleber can make 2 3-pointers, that probably gives him an extra 10 minutes in this game. Yeah. So it might be something you look at live. Yeah, I think ahead of the game, you're really gambling there.
Yeah, it's a good call. It's a big if. Yeah. Yeah, Jackoff was saying maybe you sprinkle a little bit on double-double for either of them. Wait, what? What'd I say? What?
Say that again.
Jackoff. What?
Just reminds me of
you'll get there.
Jack's name, dude. I always bring Jack up as soon as I see his shit. It's amazing. And the fact that it was Jack off sprinkle. That's just wonderful. We like to have fun around here. We have a really, really like highbrow humor level that we try to meet. So I'm proud of that.
That's just
curious though. Who does Thibodeau see playing more, Gafford or Lively?
Would be great to get your insight on that, Thiv. Hit us up when you get a chance.
He's waiting for Josh to give him the insight.
Dude, at least I didn't go. Dude, when Kevin came in here and started talking shit like 10 streams ago, I went bananas, dude. I went off and just started telling him he was a dumb piece of it was so unnecessary. So let's let Thiv off the hook a little bit here.
Hey Josh, real quick. That last stream we were wrong on Gafford, right?
Yeah.
I was on the Gafford under as well. I was on that.
Yeah.
But you had some right in that stream. You had some picks right in that game, right? It wasn't just Gafford.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm assuming.
There was. So I wonder if Thiv hit those though. I don't know.
No, he the ones that you lost. Yeah,
that's the problem. Yeah. It's all good. Look, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping, I believe is the saying. So as long as
that is
popping,
what the people say. Yeah.
That's general consensus. So let's like there's a couple more.
Okay, Thibodeau just put out his picks. Let's read them.
Hell yes.
He's got down. He's got a bat. He's got a bat.
PJ 10
I can't wait for one of these to be wrong.
That doesn't even exist. 4 rebounds. That doesn't even exist.
PJ 10 points, 4 rebounds. So is that a same game parlay?
Okay, alt prop. All right, thank you.
Yeah, probably a little same game parlay in the alt prop. Kyrie over 2.5 assists, which is what, like minus 300 or something like that. Solid plays, my guy. Like
this is a bet. This is the most casual way to bet. Like this is how I bet half the time. Not gonna lie. Like
cash.
It's like you just feel comfortable if we just these are all right. A lot of cappers have suggested these players, so let me just bring these down. Like we're bapping. I've got a very similar one out there. I hope it hits for you.
Yeah, that's okay. I got the screenshot. We've got notes.
That's okay. I got the screenshot. Okay, no, I could talk about. I could give kind of my insights on Derek Lively.
Please, yes.
So
also real quick, just to interrupt you. Don't forget, Daft, that I want to hear your Luka super play in a little bit too. But let's close out this stuff with what you're saying here, PB.
Yeah, no, with me, I think Lively out of all the players. I think Lively benefits the most without Kristaps because Kristaps is pulling him out and he's not like he's in the game to be a rim protector at the end of the day. Like they need him for Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. So when Porziņģis is out there camping at the 3-point line, it's pulling him out, and it's really affecting his upside and overall his net rating when he's in the lineup with the starters. So and a lot of this too is like his points. Like he can't really like shot create for himself. It's more so like the alley-oops that's where he gets it. But I think there's a lot of rebound upside. If he can, I don't think he's going to put so much attention on Al Horford, make him beat you in the pick and pop. But other than that, I mean, I would be interested in, I think, maybe going over on Lively once I know a little bit more about Kristaps.
I like that observation because I haven't not been able to find anything that would help me like feel better about a Derek Lively prop. All I know is
I've been cautioning
against fading him. Yeah, I've just been cautioning against just blind fading him because he looks so bad in 2 games and just going, oh well, he's a rookie, so he probably is going to keep sucking in these games. Like that's not logic to me that I can use.
I think it would be ideal for Lively though if Luka could give him the ball and he can kind of create for himself. Like that's where the Gafford upside comes from because Gafford's able to do that, unlike Lively. So
interesting.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Modi.
I would just piggyback. I would agree on the Lively over. I feel like it's really easy to fall in love with that he hasn't looked good through 2 games. To me, it just looks like he's over amped up. I mean, Kristaps is 26 feet from the basket and he's in his grill. Like his hand is down his throat. He just needs to like take a deep breath. He just looks so frenetic, which a rookie playing in the NBA finals, like on the road, you can excuse a little bit. So I think that he calms down a little bit. Like he was so good in the Timberwolves series before he got hurt. He was better than Gafford. He can guard the perimeter better. He's better on the short roll. He's just someone you trust more to make decisions, which can be important with the high pick and roll that they run. Sorry, my dog's barking.
All good.
But I would agree with the Lively over. I think it's a really good spot to just kind of fade what you've seen recently and bet is over.
Yeah, for sure. So for Lively, then that was what I wanted to look at too. I got distracted because I was also like, wait, if your dog barks when you're giving a pick out, you should start tracking if it hits or doesn't hit. That'd be mad interesting.
People want to like, okay, give me your like underdog of the day. Give me the underdog dog play of the day.
Fire. Yeah, and Jack over here, our homie Jack is saying that your dog is bullish on Blake, which is good. And Viv likes the fact that he's playing at home. He's going to get some energy. So that's good insight too.
I have to run.
Okay.
Let me just give out my third and final pick
Drop
of the day, and then I'll pop. I put a half unit on Derek Jones Jr. to make 2+ 3-pointers. It's plus 210 odds at FanDuel. My logic is they just don't bother guarding him. He's taken 5 3-pointers, which I get is not a very high number. All 5 of them are wide open, and he's made 1. The Thunder series, he had a stretch where he made like 7, 4, and 4 in 3 games, whatever that was. He had a stretch in the Timberwolves where he made, I think, 3 in back-to-back games. He's made 1 since then. We're just betting on positive regression. So that was my third and final pick. Again, it's a half unit play, 2+ made 3-pointers, plus 210 odds at FanDuel.
And the doggo loves it.
She loves it. Absolutely loves it.
Fire.
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely agree with you in the fact that they're leaving him open. That's as clear as can be.
Yep.
That's do you fire. Think though maybe like if they're leaving him open, maybe the Mavs are going to be like maybe start driving more, like move a little bit more. You know,
you could just take his points in with that thought in mind. That's true.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I know you got a dip, bro, but appreciate you being on, Modi. Either way, we'll let you roll. And
appreciate you guys having me. And we'll catch you next time.
All right, bro.
Nice to meet you.
Daph, you're gonna be Modi for a bit. Just so
please.
You know.
This is what are we waiting for?
Hold up. I'm going to switch you guys real quick because I do want to. I think there's a couple of others that we should at least touch on. I just want to know what you guys think because I've kind of made the decision that I am terrified of taking the role players right now. I feel like there's too much randomness for most of the role players in each team, but. Let's kick it with DJJ. I think points I love what Modi's doing because he does make these plays where they're just conviction and it's like, yo, I'm gonna go with 2 threes for this man for plus 200, put a half a unit on it. It's a fine way to bet. Like I'm totally good with people who want to take higher odds and put less money on it, and all you got to do is win one of those, to make your money back, even if you lose 3 or 4 in a row. That's one thought. The other thought would be the points. And the man just doesn't make a concerted effort all the time to rebound. He's so important to the defense, guarding Tatum, et cetera, that I don't want to have to bank on his boards. But would either of you play the points or, a potential tail on Modi's bet?
I'd go with the points personally. I think there's more upside for him. Remember we were talking about it like in game one, like the PR, and then we brought up the counterpoint though. Like I was thinking about taking the under, and then we're like, oh well, he can get there with cuts and layups.
Right.
I think the points, it could be like what was the term that you use if you take the under, but then you do like the 2 threes as like a hedge?
Is that beast or bitch or beast?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah.
BOB.
You'd have to, you take a higher alternate over and try to hedge it another way. But yeah, I'm very similar. I would look at the points. I think if Dallas play with more energy and pace, that opens up the transition points with Derek Jones. Absolutely, I think he can make an open three above the break, even though he doesn't like it. I think at home he can make it. And if Porziņģis is not there, that's one less rim protector they have.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. Yeah.
So yeah, he might be a play. It's 9.5, right? Which is
you want to know something interesting? I just thought of Porziņģis. If Porziņģis plays, keep an eye out on this. I like the under 1.5 blocks. I think he's not going to be 100%. I think it's going to definitely impact his rim protection around on defense, and he's going to be really limited if he's playing. I like. I think it's like -120.
I like this look. I'm trying
to find under 1.5 blocks. And like one of the blocks came with like Maxi Kleber running transition. You never see that happening.
Maxi Kleber running transition. I've never heard those words in the same sentence. I don't think they have it up here on Outlier right now. Did he didn't get officially ruled out yet, did he?
No, but I just had to bring that up because the name Porziņģis was mentioned.
Zinger, yeah. Oh well, but if you can get under 1.5 blocks for Zinger in this game, I absolutely love it too. I'm totally with that. There was this is great too. I just wanted to point out JK. Love JK's input. He put Thiv's SGP together. 6 legs for +200. That is EV betting, my friend. Keep killing Killa. That's beautiful. Fucking +200 for 6 things to happen. All right. And also, I did want to call out Free Sauce because I also like this WNBA look, and I'm very happy to stay on for a minute and talk some W a little bit after this for anybody that wants to kick it. Also want to call out my boy Burr Oaks giving away soccer, and when Burr Oaks puts out soccer, you fucking listen. The man has been crushing it, especially if he's talking about his beloved Vinny J. Big Real fan over there, so we know that he knows what he's talking about with that stuff. So just keep that and stuff in the mind. But the Porziņģis under is beautiful. Let me interrupt us real quick and say, Daft, can you please dispel your Luka banger that you've got here?
The banger. All right. So I've actually had a lot of success betting first quarter props in this series. Been killing it, really. In that last game, I had Kristaps points, rebounds in the first quarter, alternate lines. Like it was cash money. Made thousands on Kristaps alone. Shit. But then I had Tatum under in his points in the first quarter and Luka under his assists in the first quarter. It was 1.5. Now, out of all of those plays that cashed, Luka was the one that I was most confident in. And the lines moved up to 2.5, and my confidence is soaring, right? Okay. And the key thing here is the matchup. I think against the Boston Celtics, you can check this on Outlier, he's gone under 1.5 first quarter assists in every game. And the lines moved up to 2.5. And then I looked further into it to check his potentials. He's averaging 0.8 potential assists in the first quarter against Boston.
Under 2.5 first quarter assists. Interesting. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you check the head-to-head tab,
potential assists in a specific quarter.
Yeah.
Can I ask you that?
Props are cash.
Really? Oh, right. That's literally the only place to find it. Yeah, that's brilliant. That is possibly the best feature there.
It is.
That's sick. Yeah, the fact that you can see rebound chances and potential assists by quarter is that's huge. Okay, so continue.
And it correlates well with the whole world wanting Luka, betting on Luka's over in the first quarter for his points.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I might even put together a parlay for Luka's first quarter over points under assists.
That's beautiful. I'm very aroused.
It's arousing, right?
Yeah. No, I am very aroused. That's fire. They are correlated. I do like that. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, everybody can keep their porn. I'll be talking about EV bets out here. That's what I'm talking about.
So funny.
All right, dope. So that is a play from Daft that I'm probably going to tail.
I have two more though. Did we talk about Maxi Kleber at all? Like
we didn't talk about Maxi, and there was some conversation about Mr. Green, Josh Green as well. I think those are two guys that we can kind of close out on here. I'm going to pull up Maxi and then Josh Green. There's nobody else I'm really interested in. I mean, we've talked about like 29 different players already. In the series that's going to play like 14 people. So I think we could probably close it out with these two real quick.
I mean, I really want to take the points for like the over 2.5 points. It's like screaming at me with how low it is.
I know.
He seems to like consistently have at least a floor of 12 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of hitting 1-3. Granted, 1-3 right now, the odds is minus 130 on the under.
Okay.
But role players have to step up at home. I know, like you kind of mentioned, you don't really feel comfortable taking any role players right now. And they need them on the court for switching, for defense and for switching. So I really think the over 2.5 points is, and it's a good plus EV bet because it's minus 122 at FanDuel. Other books, it's like minus 150.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that they're still giving us 2.5 and just trying to almost bait us.
It feels like it's a bait, not going to lie. Yeah.
Because they keep it at 2.5, but like, this isn't Tim Hart. Remember we were talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. for like 1 sec last time, and it was like 1.5 points. He just needs to sneeze on the ball and watch it go in, and it's fine. But like, then he didn't play a second. That's not the case with Maxi. Like Maxi, and look, I obviously agree with what Daff said earlier because he was quoting what I said, which is you don't know which center is going to play until you watch. But Maxi is going to get 15 minutes.
I think he doesn't have to be a center too. Like they could put him in as a power forward, like in stints without Derrick Jones Jr. maybe, or like it's not like he has to play center. I actually don't think that I think when he's in the game, they need to have a center along with him because Tatum and Brown will just blow past him and there's no rim protection. So they need to have maybe that's an adjustment that they make. But they need a shooting though. It's like, unfortunately, if he misses his first 3 shots, then the minutes go away. But so be it.
Yeah, I think that's worth a risk. So let me ask you: if you know that he's going to take 3, max 4 shots, are you good with over 2.5? If that's the projection that we have for him,
I think so. I mean, he's at home a 34% shooter. So anything more than 3 is like, good playable.
Yeah.
Another thing though. Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about too, I haven't seen the lines out yet. I don't know why they're not posting it. A player that I thought had a really promising roll off the bench for the Mavericks.
I know who you're going to say. Can I say who I think you're going to say?
Go for it. Who
Jaden Hardy.
Dante Exum.
Oh, not Jaden Hardy, but someone in a similar position. Okay.
Exum is great for the Mavs for 3 reasons. The first reason is that he acts as a playmaker, a third ball handler for them that leads to the second reason: push transition, push the tempo, kind of make Luka like a Dirk Nowitzki type player where he's playing more off ball, maybe create and Kyrie as well, like create better looks for off ball, and then also too for defense, right? Like for Jaylen Brown, I saw a lot of the times he was giving Jaylen Brown some uncomfortable possessions, and they need him to create steals and kind of more opportunities. I was hoping that maybe they can get the PRA line, maybe an assist line for him or something. But I definitely think that he's going to see some meaningful minutes this game.
I agree. What's he been? How many minutes did he get in this game? Real quick,
he had 9 minutes. I think he had 9 minutes.
10.5.
Yeah.
In this game, and this is game 2.
Yeah,
right here.
they're actually taking away Jaden. I think he's cutting Jaden Hardy and Josh Green's playing time.
Interesting. So that actually does help us out. You didn't have anything real quick, Daff, for like Josh Green or Maxi, did you? Since we're talking about them, because I agree with everything PB just said, including Josh Green could lose some minutes to Exum, and Hardy might be just finished on this series.
Oh, Fabi Carr doesn't like the Kleber look. Okay.
Oh no, Maxi is here. Celtics. He deserves no playing time. Okay, all right, never mind. We can't bet on that.
I took a look at everybody because I'm a pervert like that.
Yeah, you are.
But for Maxi and Green, the only one I considered was for them to make 1-3. I think the role plays. There's going to be a few role players who make some threes for the Mavs in this game, and you're getting pretty good odds for them to make 1. Maxi, they're leaving him wide open. His first game in the series, he didn't take a 3.
Yeah.
Second game, he was obviously told to just fucking take it because you're wide open. And then he even started to drive on the break. Like he was feeling himself.
Yeah, he was. When he got stuffed at the rim by KG.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a nice play.
7 seconds or less. He just went for it.
Yeah.
But I had to look at them to make 1 3-pointer, but I was like, I already got a whole lot of bets, so I didn't want to force anything up. But one bet, I'm not sure if you guys would have spoken about this that I've taken. It's another first quarter play, and I like Jrue Holiday's. I like everything for Jrue Holiday in the first quarter. Not gonna lie, but I think the points is probably the easiest one to sell. So I believe he's gone over his points prop in 5 or 6 straight games against Dallas. He averages like 5 or 6 points in the first quarter. His line's at 2.5.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was brought up a minute ago too.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the last 20 for him. So, I mean, the hit rates has been good of late, obviously, here. I'm trying to see the shot attempts as well for our boy, but they're not giving me that for the first quarter.
No, I looked and it's about 4 to 5.
Okay.
So if you check the head-to-head tab on Outlier, you'll get aroused by the green.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
Jrue Holiday he's the smartest player on the court, like on both teams. He knows how to weasel his way into the basket when defenses are not paying attention to him. He's the go-to player, like when Luka's predominantly covering him. So it's just essentially a layup, which that should happen, and then nothing, something else.
Yeah. I also got a little bit distracted because I can't unsee this now. Dante Exum dribbles like a player. If you look at Bob Cousy dribbling in front of him, that is exactly how Dante Exum dribbles the ball. That is a great call.
It's going to be interesting to see, like, just to off topic, like for Exum, he's going to be on. I think he's going to be on Team Australia, right? Like, I would love to see how he plays against the Team USA team.
Yeah. Dude, I can't unsee it now. That is so good.
That's how we dribble down here, though. Like it's
like your day job as a plumber.
Yeah, it's right. You're from Australia.
You play basketball in your spare time. Real quick, this is really interesting too. Maxey 2+3s at +500. It's ballsy. I mean, if he takes 4 of them, 2 is fine. It's positive regression on the thing. But I almost like some of these. Just like, if you're gonna take a player to bust out of a slump, then just take him to bust out of that slump. And I paused after I say bust like that, but you know what I'm saying? That I like that. I think Josh Green is a pass. Unfortunately, we don't have these XM props. Unfortunately, we don't have the green props. I will bring this up briefly because Chester is persistent, and persistency will get you far. Boston money line. This is what he wants to know about. If anybody wants to just bash one of these legs, or at least like tell him no, don't do this. One of these legs. I'm here for it. The only thing I would say that as I was looking at it a minute ago is the Tatum double-double. I preach this every time people bring up Tatum double-double. His lines are at 8 or like 9.5 for the boards, right? You're going to get better money to go over on the boards than the double-double. He's not getting 10 assists consistently. He's barely ever getting 10 assists. So don't take the double-double. Take the rebounds, because that's what the prop will be that will get him the double-double. So just take the rebounds. You'll get better juice on it than the double-double, which is usually like -150. And that's a great trick by the books, is them going, well, if we give you the double-double, we got to lessen the odds because he could get assists or he could get rebounds alongside the points. Bullshit. His assist prop is at 5.5. So that ain't going to be where he gets the double-double. It's going to be on the rebounds. Over 9.5 rebounds for Tatum is better money than the double-double. And it almost always is. So check that out. No worries, though. I appreciate you sticking around for it, Chester. I know I said that was going to be the last one.
I told you, I think with his, I think it just comes down. I kind of lean the Derek White under 15.5 points. That's stuck in my head.
D White?
Yeah, D White.
For what?
Under 15.5 points. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
What started to change your mind?
No. I kind of was talking about it earlier. I was just saying, you said out of all the legs, like which one?
Have you seen something that's kind of like made you a little bit more confident?
No. It just comes down to the same thing. Like, I just think they're going to be okay with letting Tatum, maybe like not pressuring him so much, treating him like he's not like he's LeBron James. Just get those 2 points, and it's gonna hurt Derek White.
Yeah. No, I still dig it. And maybe there's like a PA kind of under for D White, like, because Tatum and Brown, if you believe in their points tonight, they're not getting that stuff off of assists, right? It's ISO ball for them for sure. They blow by everybody. And the defense is probably ready for that a little bit, but like it's still Luka guarding one of those two dudes, and then it's over. I did want to close though, because on Pritchard, because I'm intrigued by his prop here. For 2 reasons. Okay. One is it's 4.5 when it was 3.5.
Whoa, yeah. Oh, well, that's the Kristaps. Yeah, they think
so. That's obviously the Kristaps effect, right? I really wanted to it was at 2.5 for like a second before like game 1 or game 2, one of those, and then it went right up to 3.5. And of course, he hits the 3 off the backboard, right, and then ends with 3 points. He's not playing in the second half. Like, let's just make that clear. Like, he's barely getting time in the second half. It's not this isn't like everybody gets some time to play against the Miami Heat because you know what I mean. Like those were his minutes. Was like, well, let's let the white guys play. Like that ain't happening anymore. So with that in mind, like, what do I do with this now? Should I be tricked into betting an over because it actually went up? Or is it just like, no, he's still not made for this series in a way that you can't 15, 12 minutes in the first 2. I don't know. Do you have a thought on Daft, by the way, or on Pritchard Daft?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Don't touch him.
Yeah,
but no, my plugs got him for 10 points at like plus 475. But the way I'm thinking about this with the Kristaps news, the forgotten white man in all this is Sam Hauser.
Yeah, that's what people are saying in the chat.
You know something with Hauser as well, right? Everyone knocks him off because like he can't play defense. Like that's what's like keeping him off the court.
Yeah.
If you go on NBAstats.com right now and you look at the last 2 games defensive rating in 13.2 minutes, not enough sample size, but he actually has the best defensive rating out of all Celtics players. Very interesting.
This is this game wasn't as good for him, but you're saying the first game
that wasn't a good game. Huh? That's funny. The last 2 games.
But the first game he was so good that means his defensive rating stayed pretty far down.
That's what I was saying. Not that high of a sample size for him.
Yeah, because one game can affect it that much. In this one, because he had a 71 defensive rating.
Yeah, I mean, he was like 0 for 5 on 3. I think he goes.
That's what keeps him off. If he's not making his threes, you don't need him on there. But he's taking them. The volume is there. So
yeah,
I think
he played pretty good beyond PJ Washington. Only giving up 2 free throws.
PJ Washington. Oh yeah, that's. Did we talk about him? That's actually my second prop.
We didn't even talk about PJ. My bad, y'all. And we got Mr. Koff coming in saying that
that affects the Horford rebounds. I'm a little worried about that.
Interesting. Okay, so KP's out though.
Okay, we'll see. We can. Do you have to end the show now, or maybe we can?
No, not at all. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, we could talk about lines. I guess I could fill everyone in. So my first prop was I liked Horford's under 7.5 rebounds.
Yep.
You're probably going to be able to get it now because Porziņģis is out, so you can get that in. The second prop I liked was PJ Washington over 13.5 points. It's just been he's been the most consistent Mavs player aside from Luka Dončić this series. 14 points, 17 points, 14 points last 3 meetings. He's able to punish Derek White a lot when they match up with him and drive on him. I think that's like a button that Jason Kidd likes to press a lot. And I mean, I think that 13.5 point line is still too low for him.
I did not realize that Derek White was predominantly guarding him.
That's what it is. It's like as soon as he's on him, like they give him the ball and then he just drives.
Yeah. Interesting.
His free throw numbers are looking good. He's like, if you look at his shot attempts, you think there's no improvement here, but he's getting to the line. So he's actually a lot more aggressive than he has been. So I like the look. I actually took him for I did a same game parlay for him. I took him over 12.5 points and 5 rebounds.
Okay. I like that.
Just because I know how sharp some of these motherfuckers can be. So
yeah. Is it over 5 rebounds or 5+?
5+. So
yeah,
4.5.
I agree with that entirely. I've been doing that. It's gone now, but I was doing 10+ points, 5+ boards for PJ for a long time. And then he started playing like way better in this series, mostly because there's no spot up available. So the dude who was shooting all the spot ups for Dallas was like, guess I can't do that anymore. Let me use my floater game that I didn't know he had. Did anybody know PJ Washington had a floater game the way he's been playing?
No, I mean, and all of those come against Derek White. If you watch all the drives, it's all against Derek White. I watched a lot of his points, and I actually didn't put that together right away. I cannot believe I missed that. So that's a really good look. That's why we do these streams, though. We all need help here. So let's see the Horford rebounds. Did it change?
The PB push.
No, it's actually minus 118 now, so it's better odds than when I got
for
it.
6.5 though.
7.5 I'm seeing.
Oh, you can still get 7.5 under for better odds.
Yeah,
for
minus
Papa Al's
125.
rebound?
Yeah, it's because Porzingis is confirmed
Oh,
out.
because he's fully out. Right.
That's
So
good
this
though.
is
Yeah,
good
if
for-
anyone wants to get it, I don't think that changes my viewpoint though, because I liked it with or without Porzingis.
Right. Yeah. 100%. I dig that.
What else though? Let's see.
Did you have a play for Hauser? Either of you? I know. I think you brought him up, right, Daft, originally.
I don't have a play on him. I'm just saying, like with all the Pritchard noise, I
Yeah.
think Hauser's probably the forgotten man. You can
Yeah.
run the same equation, give him the same reasoning, and I think if Porzingis isn't there, they need more size. They're going to be playing smaller already. I don't think you put Pritchard out there. You can put Hauser on the wing, and like he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just get him to defend Derrick Jones Jr. for a couple sets. He'll be sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I didn't bet on him. I think the main looks I have are what? Luka, Jrue. Jrue. I had a whole lot of KP shit. Thank God he's out because I forgot he got injured in that last game. I put the bet on like 4 days ago. And I'm like, I hope he gets scratched.
On over 3.5 first quarter points, but it's all void at this point. Yo, quick shout out for Thiv. We've been kind of cruel, and he's still hanging around, kicking it, throwing out his bets. Maybe it's because the stream's free. I don't know, but like that takes some cojones. So shout out,
Thiv. Do you like the PJ over? Can you say in the comments if you like that?
Yeah, let's know if you like the PJ over, brother.
The one thing I've noticed with all this YouTube stuff, I feel like some people are shitting on me in my comments, and then there are days where I bite back, but they're actually quite respectful. So sometimes it's just how people communicate through word. Right. It's not intended the way it lands.
Sure, but it's hard.
If you're saying you fucking sold me out, it's hard to interpret that any other way.
Thank you.
I
was gonna say
I'm giving better to the doubt out here. BOD.
Tone and inflection aren't really necessary to figure out when you're coming in like you guys suck at this. Like okay,
maybe it was a question mark, right?
Yeah. Thanks. All good.
You know what I'm digging actually, fellas? You know what? Derek Lively. How about we like over 1.5 first quarter rebounds? And we were kind of talking about that because when he checks in the game is normally when Porzingis checks in, right?
Yeah.
So who's checking in now when Lively checks in? I don't think Horford's going to play all the minutes. What'd you say?
There's a Cornet or Tillman type of
Cornet. Okay, so Cornet is not gonna shoot a three. He's gonna be parked by the paint.
What's the point there? Sorry, I got slightly distracted.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So I think a nice little edge here is Lively over 1.5 first quarter rebounds. So normally the rotation aligns with the facts like last 2 games, Horford starts right, and then Porzingis comes in around the 6 or 7 minute mark. That's normally when Lively comes in. So he likes to match up with that. Assuming Horford doesn't play all 12 minutes, he's going to have to come out eventually. And then that's when Lively comes in. Like Lively's probably going to see half of his playing time with Horford. So then it comes down to like, okay, who is going to be coming in the game for Horford? Maybe like a guy like Brissett or whatever, like a guy that, you know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that because we can bank on what the rotations are going to be in the first quarter a bit more easily, that you're going to see Lively's minutes matched up with someone that's not nearly as good as him. Because Horford,
yeah, not someone that's a threat for starters to shoot a three.
They're not going to stretch the floor. Yeah.
And also someone, or if it's Cornet, maybe he's going to be, camped at the paint where Lively can kind of just be a roam player. He could just be a roamer now.
Right, which is where he's fucking awesome. Was when he was doing that against Rudy Gobert, and that's what just crushed Rudy. Was his ability to play.
I kind of dig that. I want to see if it's available on a lot of books though. It's minus 130. I'm seeing on DraftKings. Oh, they don't do first quarter rebounds on FanDuel. That's unfortunate.
I know. 1.5 minus 130 for the over 1.5 on DK, like you were saying, yeah. And then Caesars has it too.
Minus 155. Geez, minus 165.
Oh, on that's on UD. Yeah.
What's your thoughts about that one? That's kind of like my. Yeah.
Let me go back to our buddy popcornmachine.net. Any idea why the hell it's called?
I have no idea.
Trying to go to the popcornmachine.com. All right, .net going. I'm just going to try to look real quick at the game flow for game 1 here. Derek Lively came in at the 8-minute mark. So he was already
he matches his minutes, I think.
Interesting. Very interesting. And so at that point, saw Kristaps come in at the same point. Yeah, and that really kind of fucked him, honestly, more than anything. So if Al comes out, now we're talking about Derek Lively having a much better matchup. I think that's a really, really sharp look, to be honest. Okay. The first quarter boards for him at over 1.5 is hit very consistently in the playoffs here, as you can see. Did I have anything? I don't think I have any other filters on. So yeah, this is just the last 20 games.
We got to see how many first quarter minutes he gets, though. Like, what's that look like?
So the first quarter minutes are at 5.7 over his last 20, which is about the playoffs here. There's like 2 games not in the playoffs for him because he missed a game or 2 right in the playoffs.
Yeah, 5 to 6 minutes to grab 2 rebounds. Actually, look, that has a good hit rate according to StatMuse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is hit in 6 of the last 8 games.
Yeah, and really, if you want to take, the last 10 are probably a better measure for him when he's been getting a few more minutes and a bit more involvement.
I wouldn't really like. So yeah, I'm looking at some of the hit rates. Like there's some games where he plays 3 minutes. I'm more so interested to see what it looks like when he plays what we think probably 5 to 6 minutes. You know?
Yeah, I think so. Let me. Can I do first quarter stuff here? I can't, right? I can't do first quarter stuff on Props Madness, which is whatever. But I mean, if you look at the minutes right here, it's at 5.1, including the OKC series, but he wasn't really playing much because we know Gafford was Chet Holmgren's daddy, so he got all the minutes in that series. But then you pull up the minutes since then, right? In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, really the last 6-ish games, including So, and he missed one against Minnesota. I think you can bank on 5 as the floor for him if you want, and 5 to 6 sounds accurate. So, if you look that up as is in the first quarter, then I mean you're probably at a very good hit rate, to be honest. I mean, he still hit it in a couple games where he played 3 and 4 minutes. If he's out there for that, I think that's a really good look for the over rebounds for him, -1.5.
I also like to this on that same note without Porziņģis, Mavericks money line. I mean, what's that looking like? Maverick, just keep it simple.
The Mavs money line.
There that stat with Kristaps on there, +26 with him off there at 0.
Yes.
So it really just evens this thing up. And now you give Dallas home court.
Wait a second. What was that stat, Daft?
Yeah, with Kristaps on there, +26. When he's off the court, it's a neutral. So now you give Dallas home court, knowing that the Celtics are far worse when he's not there.
Yeah. I mean, PB, I think you could still take the -2.5 and get yourself -115 as opposed to the -150 or so for the money line for them.
Yeah, is that what it's? Spot. Okay, I may consider that.
I think it's worth adding to certain plays. I know I'm not really on Boston money line. I doubt that I'll end up playing a side either way, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm with it for sure.
I'm gonna probably give that out in my Discord, to be honest with you.
I definitely got to get
the Mavericks. I'm liking the Derek Lively.
Derek Lively rebound.
Unless maybe they try to position him somehow just to be on top of the key instead of being at the rim, but I don't see how that's happening. I think it's a huge edge without Porziņģis, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a better number. This dude always cracks me up though, real quick. He wanted to make sure that you saw his comment about your coat, which is like, "Yo, it's mad warm there. You don't need a coat." I think he was calling you soft. I think he wanted to make sure you saw that, Daft.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but I am from. I've got Asian heritage, and my lineage and where it's in Southeast Asia, it's quite warm all year round. So it's in my DNA to get cold real quick.
Got you. Okay. So you're saying he was being racist? Is what you're saying?
No, if anything, he hasn't taken into account my race. He's only taken into account my location. So I thrive in the heat, is what I'm saying.
Dig it. Okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna look at because I also got a couple things I got to get up in the Discord and whatnot. I like the potential look of Boston to be leading at the end of 1, and then you can get that on DraftKings, I know for sure, where you take first quarter winner is Boston, game winner is Dallas, and that'll get you some nice juice.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you buy into the first quarter stuff as much, I think that you'll be in a good spot to hit that. Obviously you need to hit that the first quarter bet for it to fall through, but I think that's a good look. So, all right, I'm going to end it there, y'all. Appreciate everybody jumping in here. I had about 600 folks or so concurrently for most of this thing, so much appreciated.
Nice. We can add that to my card, by the way. That's making that official. The Lively over 1.5 first quarter rebounds.
I love it. I'm probably going to tail that. I'm not going to lie. That was not hard to convince me. I'm gonna be honest with you. But not good stuff from everybody, man. I'll be in the Discord here in just a little bit after I feed my dog who has pancreatitis, which happened yesterday. He's much better. Everybody could be God, but that's why I wasn't able to have a stream yesterday. So keep that in mind. I'll be coming back. I'm probably gonna be doing a WNBA stream moving forward as well, like tomorrow. And then on the off days, we got a game on Friday though, so a short break between game 3 and 4. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they're maybe that's why Kristaps is resting. I don't know.
It would make sense. It almost made no sense for him to even consider playing. Honestly, I think that was just the cat and mouse game of like, don't let them prepare as much as possible. I don't think he was ever really going to play in this game. So, all right, but definitely check both these dudes out. YouTube channels for both of them. Or I'm sorry, YouTube channel for Daft. For PB, obviously follow on Twitter. #1 spot. And then if you do want to check out the Discord, it's got that pop in, some really good looks in there. Right around 100 plus U on the season. Both these dudes just crushing it so far this year. So we'll be back. If either of them are available for Friday, we'll be getting them on. And then, shout out Modai as well. So appreciate everybody being in here. Subscribe to that page if you would. Liking this video goes a long way, especially you, Thiv. After talking trash, you got to like this video for sure, my guy. But we will be back on Friday. I'll be having some WNBA stuff for tomorrow. Shout out Angel Reese under rebounds tonight. That's a great look from Free Sauce. If you want under boards for Angel Reese, who has been the best rookie, I will fight anybody who says otherwise. But until we do see you next for all of this stuff I'm talking about, happy betting.
Happy betting.
Gang, gang.
Kang.